Okay, so I just want to see if we're live. It all looks pretty smooth right now, so I just want to double check that we're all looking good. And it's great to connect with you guys. It's been a long time. Oh, hold on a second. Pretty smooth right now. Okay, fantastic. My wife says you look great. I appreciate that. That's always good when your wife says you look great. But great. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. Melissa and my golden doodles are in the other room, so we're not going to get interrupted by puppy hugs, which is a very big shame right now. I sort of kind of regret it, but it's been a long time. Many of you have been asking me, actually personally, those of you who know me, said, Jerry, what's going on? Why have you been so quiet lately? It's actually quite the opposite. I have never been busier. We're busy, we're photographing weddings, portraits, performers, we're doing educational videos, we're doing music videos. It's just been a plethora of different approaches to image making, which I'm absolutely loving. Certainly a lot of us have come out of the pandemic a bit tired, a bit weary, and like, what do we do with that information? How does it all work? But I think it's fantastic that we connect and reinvigorate each other. And I thought, why don't we do a broadcast that maybe inspires you? Perhaps we can help a certain cause, which I'll be mentioning sort of later on. But for now, we want to give you incredible value. And I want to showcase to you and with you some of my favorite photographs of my career. A lot of them will be like retrospective. So they'll basically be shots that I've done way in the past. And I want to sort of show you how I've evolved. And I want to sort of show you what I believe are my sort of career defining images. And you can't really proclaim that yourself. I think your clients do. And in terms of what people pay attention to, why would they look at a certain photograph? What makes it memorable? What makes it stand out? Why do people book you? So I'm going to show you some of those shots in my career that have done that over the years, and then talk about how I have created them and answer any of your questions. So just so you know, obviously you're here live on Facebook right now. Melissa has a shared Google Doc with me right here. I can see it right here. So if you ask a question, don't think I'm not going to notice it. Melissa will be there. She'll be fielding the questions to me. And after the presentation, if you want to ask any more questions or during, whatever you like, we're here for you. So yeah, it's going to be fun, guys. Let me start to look at how I'm going to do all this. Hold on a second here. Just closing out of some windows here. Okay, let me share my screen and let's get it straight into the presentation. It's sort of like that just before this broadcast went, I had all these things on my desktop. I'm like, I must clean them. So I'll like select all, put them in a tidy folder, and that's basically it. So that's what's happening there. Okay, let me share my screen. And we'll share the sound as well. Okay, fantastic, guys. Let's have a look here. Okay, so Melissa, if you just want to basically make sure that you only see my logo, follow me in my social media handles, then we should be set to go, just to make sure that we're in the right place here. Okay, fantastic. All right. So this is me. I'm not too sure how old I am there. I think I'm about 3 or 4 years of age. Okay, tell me who I look like. Who could play me in a movie? I think that'd be fun. But this is when I was a young little tacker, as we basically say in Australia. I was always very, I'd say, creative. I think that everyone is creative. Some people think that they're not. I believe the worst thing that ever happened to us is that we grew up. The difference is that I actually never grew up. I still have a childlike mind. I'm very entrepreneurial. Don't get me wrong. There's a time and place for everything, and we just have fun. I just like to have fun. And at the end of the day, I think that many people say, well, can you teach creativity? I believe that there are some people born with an innate way to see things. And I think in photography specifically, perhaps people are born with an inherent perspective, like a sense of composition. You don't get born knowing lighting, born knowing posing. You're not born knowing those technical things. Certainly your makeup as a human could be more conducive of being more technical and more emotional, or doesn't matter what it is. I feel like I've got a good combination of both. I think what's helped me over the years is that I actually don't do my own Photoshop. I think that's helped me become a better photographer because I'm not lazy when I photograph. I try to get it right in camera. Now, I'm not dismissing anyone who plays around in Photoshop afterwards. We all do. I mean, we never give our clients, you know, shots straight from the camera. That's very, very rare. We will always tweak and adjust and everything, but the kind of post-production I like to do is simply invisible. Like you will not see what I'm doing or notice what I'm doing. And even if I nip and tuck and do whatever I do, it's in a way that complements the person, no different than makeup on a person. That's the way I like to do Photoshop, where it's sort of, okay, we know that you've done something. We don't really know what you've done. All we know is that you shine brighter in this particular shot. And I knew very young that I wanted to be a professional photographer. In fact, this is me, if you know Victoria in Australia, this is me in the Grampians. So my brother Nick, who gave my first camera, he actually photographed this. I was on the edge of a cliff there, and I was a skinny little tagger. I think I needed to eat a few Shake Shack burgers, and perhaps today I'm eating too many. But I'm trying to be healthy and trying to be good. But it's also fun being bad a little bit. But anyway. So I want to show you now, for those of you just joined us, we are sharing some photographs, a lot of my early career favorites that have developed over the years. And I'm going to show you some latest ones as well. And certainly if you've got any questions, in case you've just joined us, Melissa is on the Facebook page right now. And even though I'm talking into the camera, she'll be fielding questions on a shared Google Docs, and I can basically see what's going on, and it'll be great. I found very early on that even though that if you ask a photographer, what's the most important thing in a photograph, you would normally hear things like emotion, the story, the feeling, and all that may be true. And I actually sincerely believe you, but I found very quickly in my career that people just want to look beautiful. Not just want to look beautiful. They want to look beautiful first. They want to look handsome. We critique ourselves when we see a photo of ourselves. I've very rarely met a person who looks in the mirror and says, I wouldn't change a thing. So what we want to do is we want to compliment people now, especially if you're photographing domestic portraiture, as in wedding or portrait. And certainly within portrait, there's just a multitude of genres in there. It depends on what you're doing. But if you're shooting domestic portraiture, it really, there is an importance that people look and feel good. And then when you pass that hurdle, it gets more valuable if it's meaningful and more purposeful. And that's why when you photograph that way, that's when the magic starts to happen. So I remember early in my career, one of the first things that really defined my career was like a beautiful sensual quality about my photographs. I would celebrate curves. I loved bold color. This one here, I made the cover of a magazine. I think it was one of my first covers in a bridal magazine back in Melbourne, Australia, as part of an editorial. And you can sort of see how your eyes run down from her feet, the beautiful curves, and then it goes right into her face. And then we basically give her a reason to put her hand on her dress because we want to cover the naughty bits. She's basically put her hand on the dress, and then we give her something to do with her right hand. And we've got those beautiful warm and cool tones really complementing. This is actually done on medium format. For those of you who don't know, medium format is a big ass film like this. And I have the camera opposite me, actually, the one that I would photograph with. And you would have 10 shots per roll of film. So you had to be very precise when you photograph, because every time you click the camera, it actually cost you $1. So, and even when they blinked, you're like, you would take ownership of that mistake. This next shot, in fact, I was at a sculpture, and it was that cinematic quality. You got the cool tones, the warm tones, and it was a sculpture. And I'm like, well, if I had the camera, the couple looking into the camera, smiling, I'm like, that would be a bit boring. It would not go with the abstract nature of the sculpture. So they would need to be abstract. So I put the camera on a tripod. I got my exposure right. I think it was about a half-second exposure or something like that. And I wanted the couple, it was at the end of the night. This was night shots. Back in the day in Melbourne, Australia especially, it was popularized that you would do night shots after the wedding. Can you imagine photographing a wedding till 12 o'clock and then driving to a hotel and then doing night shots for an hour? Well, some fool did that back in the day and it got popularized, and then everyone had to do it. And then thankfully it subsided a little bit. But at the same time, you got some really cool shots like the following one. Let me show you this one. So now you can basically see what I'm doing. I like the way the bride was contained in that blue wall. We've got the groom within the warm tones, and it's abstract. This actually won the wedding day couple together, first place many years ago. And but I still look at it and I sort of think fondly of this being one of my iconic images. And again, I'm not really self-proclaiming I'm iconic, this is iconic. I'm saying that my couples and even fellow photographers have sort of earmarked this, and many I'm about to show you, of the ones that you get known for. Like when I think of Jerry Gionis, I think of these images or those images or whatever. And if you're lucky enough to get one or two of those a year, that's a good year. I mean, a lot of what we do is bread and butter. Let's face it, we can't be innovative every single time. It's almost impossible, because just when you think you've done something before, then now someone else has done it, probably done it better than you, probably 100 years ago, probably hundreds of years ago, in a sculpture or a painting that was even more difficult. So the best we can do is be inspired by what's around us. Then we start to emulate, like it happens either organically or very consciously. And then a few times in your career, you might just be able to innovate. I do believe sincerely, though, that every single person watching right now can get to the point in their career where they say, I'm the best at what I do. There's a unique combination of elements of what you do that is unique to you, that there's no one that's better than you, because no one does it like you. In other words, like I photograph weddings, portraits, fashion, I do filmmaking, I do music videos, I photograph performers. It's very unique to me. Even if I was mediocre at it, I'm probably the best at it, because probably not many people do all those genres in Vegas and have a 30-year career. And again, this is by no means boasting about what I've done. I still feel like a baby almost every single time I photograph. That is the fun of it. It is basically recognizing that as an artist, you'll never achieve perfection, but it's fun trying. And for me, perfection is not really flawless. Perfection means the execution of my desired result. So I say, I want to achieve this. I go after it, and then boom, if I achieve it, then that's perfection. And it sort of follows along with one of my favorite sayings, and that is this: creatives aren't short of ideas. The problem is committing to one of them. The challenge is committing to one of them. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's say you're photographing a girl, 25-year-old woman in a beautiful gown, and she's in a room, and you've got hundreds of ways to photograph her, whether it's with speed light, with strobe, reflector, window light, or a combination of ambient, different expressions, different cropping, lens choice. There's infinite ways to photograph this person. What you have to do is commit to one of them, pretend it like it was the best idea, and then boom, just go for it. Don't overthink it, feel it. The more you think, the less you feel. Let me show you another shot of my career. This one, and I look back at this and I'm like, oh my God, this is hand coloring. This is split toning. We've got monotone on the bride. There's a little hint of warmth on her face. And then we've got that wallpaper with those spotlights. Now, I often will say that light is like water. And at the minute, if you're inexperienced watching this right now, perhaps you've never been taught light properly, I want you to liken light to water, and you'll be able to understand any modifier, any light source, without even actually seeing the result of it. In other words, you see a new modifier at your local camera store, and if you liken that light source to water with that modifier, this is what it would do. This one, for example, we've got 4 shower heads very clearly on that in that area. Okay, so where are we? I want to see if my thing works.
Lean forward towards me, darling.
Let me go back 1 second. Oh, I've just ruined it. It's not working, my little pointer here, because there's too many things going on here. But anyway, if you see those 3 highlights on the actual wallpaper, it's like a very small shower head. And that's why you get those really strong shadows, and it's only hitting a certain part. You'll see the bride here. I've got her to bring her back on the actual wall, lean her feet out. So there's basically light or water going beyond her bust, hitting her body. Now you see those long shadows of her bust, which I quite like because it chisels her body. Not that she needs it. She's gorgeous. She's a great jawline. But you see how if this was water and I wanted to illuminate or wet her entire body, then I need to bring her feet out and lean her back so her bust doesn't act like an umbrella for the rest of her body. So, and now turning her face as well, I'm broad split lighting her. What does that mean? I'm photographing on the broad side, the light side of the face. Split lighting is where you light one side, not the other. Typically, I'd use this kind of lighting for the male form, but when, if it looks good, it looks good. In this case, I think it works. Now, does the black and white and the color work? I still think it sort of holds up. Would I do it today? Probably not. But sometimes I just, I feel like I want to change this back to all color. And then I look at it, I'm like, well, I don't want to change it. It's part of my history and my legacy. Why not keep it? And that was basically it. I've got a few questions here, so let me ask them. Eduardo basically asked a question about workflow. There is much you need to do when photographing: a light meter, test shot, calibrate, bounce, flash, reflectors, but in the process, some subjects disconnect. And I end up having to do less posing to avoid fake expressions for faster shots. What do you think, HDR or bracket shooting? Eduardo, I believe you're overthinking it. Let me explain. It seems like you're very overwhelmed when you photograph, which I think all of us are when we start, and we continue to be under the difficult circumstances. I suggest that you basically eat an elephant one bite at a time. So when you say doing less posing and avoid fake expressions, this is why I actually have 5 steps to what I call a great photograph. Okay, there's 5 steps. Let me explain to them quickly. When I started, usually I would look for a location first, a nice wall, a nice wall like we see here in this shot. But what I do now is I look for light, a direction of light. So light number 1, location or background number 2. If a background or location attracts me, I find the good light or create the good light in that area. So light number 1, location number 2. Then I pose them. It might be about 90%. Then I get my technique right, my lens choice, my cropping, my composition. Then I finesse the pose, which adds to the expression, and then I evoke emotion, or let them have it, like let them go for it. For example, if it's a bride and groom or a couple, I might just say, hey, guys, go for a hug. All right, so maybe they might be that graceful couple. Maybe they might be that very stiff couple that needs directing on every little finger. There are times where I'm looser and there's times where I'm a bit more precise. It depends on who I'm working with. If you follow those 5 steps, look for light, direction of light first, look for a complementary background, pose them according to the light, and it's flattering and purposeful. Get the technique right, your lens choice methodically, and then number 5, finesse the pose, and boom, now the expression. It doesn't mean you have to make them laugh or cry, like in extreme. It might simply be that you are just with the tone of your voice, look, lean forward, turn away, look this way. It could be those kinds of things that evoke the emotion, the expression. It's not so much what you say, it's even how you say it. So if you follow those steps, and then don't assume that they don't want to be posed. The same bride or girl that says, don't pose me, just spent 2 hours on hair and makeup to look natural? No. I just find it's a sort of a thing that in our industry that we're blind to a little bit. Oh, be yourself. I want to empower you. You're amazing. You're beautiful just the way you are. Now let's go get hair and makeup for 2 hours. Well, that's just silly. We all want to shine brighter. Yes, there are some people who want more natural, but I'm saying give yourself permission to bring out the best in someone and also tell them what you're doing and why you're doing it. So if you're shooting a wedding and then you roll up on a wedding day and all of a sudden basically just say, hey, you start posing and like they didn't expect it. See, people are usually, and clients especially, and in our industry, in any industry, they're usually upset if their expectations aren't met. If you said to them, this is my creative process, I will put you in a place that's beautifully lit, that's iridescent, that is gorgeous on you, looks amazing, brings out the best in you and your skin. I will give you a complimentary background, will direct you in a way that brings out the best in you. Hashtag I'm going to pose you. I'm going to get my settings right. And then I'm going to have fun and bring out the best in you with expression. What do you say? So you tell them what you're doing and why you're doing it, and then just trust the process. I'd rather you do less shots and nail them rather than just do too many and then you don't meet expectations. Soren basically says, who is Melissa? Well, if you don't know Melissa, she is the best part of me. She is my wife, and she's the reason for my complete happiness. And the reason why I wake up with a smile and I go to bed with a smile. We've been married for over 11 years. She's a photographer 11 years before we even met. Now, to be honest, her talents are wasted on photography because she's a badass businesswoman. She just runs all our entities and she's incredible at it, as you can basically see with fielding me these questions among the countless things that you do. And if you know Melissa, give her a shout out. And Melissa, if you're not humble, if you're humble and don't be humble, send me messages about the love for you that people have right now, because people know how amazing you are, and she is according to me. So Melissa is amazing. For those that are new here, also, how important is it to have a great assistant on your photographic journey? What are the key skills that an assistant should have? So Soren, the mistake that I've made over the years with an assistant is just to expect them to know what I want and how I want it. For me, I don't like an assistant shooting. I find that that's annoying. Like if I'm photographing the groom's coverage, like I have the album in mind, I have it very specifically in mind, and I photograph for spreads. If I get an anomaly photograph that's good, but doesn't really go anywhere, where do I put it? And also if I only had or can afford one person to look after me, I'd rather them hold my bags, nothing gets stolen. I've got a really bad back, so that they help me with my camera gear. They hold lights. It could be an ice light, a reflector, a continuous light, a strobe, whatever it may be. And they assist me. Now, when I get to the ceremony, and it's a big ceremony, I might have them help me with the ceremony. So they might, in fact, shoot the back of the ceremony. They might focus on one of the groom or the bride, or if it's a same-sex wedding, groom, bride, they could be focusing on one while I focus on the other. Maybe I focus on the couple during the ceremony. They focus on the family and the bridal party. Literally prepare for battle. Now, what I do with an assistant, though, is I pretend they don't exist. Although you may be helping me with the reception and the ceremony, and leave the photography for the homes and the location portraits to me, I pretend you don't exist, and you do the same. In other words, don't rely on my photographs, because if I miss something, I want you to get it, and vice versa. Now, don't get me wrong. There's going to be times where you rely on it. This is a big wedding. I mean, you have these big five-day South Asian weddings or anything like that. It could just go on forever. So even as simple as, hey, if you use a tripod, this is the way I want it set up. If you pass me the camera, hold the camera with the lens and give it to me in a way that I can just put my hand on the grip. When we get to a location, unzip the bag and fold it out. It's things like that. When you see me at a reception, if I'm photographing off-camera flash, I always want you to be in a 45-degree angle or backlit. Never assume they know what you want. Like in any relationship, tell them your love language. This is the way I want to love you. This is the way I want to be loved. And use that metaphor when it comes to an assistant. Basically, this is what I'm looking for, and tell me how I can help you help me. Okay? So be very specific, and you'll be fine. Sheen asks, hi, Jerry, I've heard you say that if you can't find the good light, you should create the good light. I live in an area that is mostly cloudy, so the light isn't very dramatic and very soft. If you're in a situation like this, how would you approach it? It'd be fantastic if you could show some examples, if possible, of course. I'm pretty sure I've got some examples in here, but I've got to say, the key to most light are two words: chin up. Light is usually coming from up above, and even in flat lighting, if you brought the chin up and tilted the head and turned it, this side of the face now is actually parallel or close to the ground. And if you photograph me on this side, even if it's flat lighting is coming from somewhere, even if the sun is going through clouds, your cloud, like that analogy with water, if the sun goes through a cloud, that's a strainer, and then therefore broadening the light, softening the light. But you can create that drama by doing this and shooting on this side of the face. And this is the short side, the shadow side. As subtle as it is, there is a difference between the shadow and the highlight side. That's assuming that this background is the right background. If this was the right background, tilt, turn, you shoot on this side, and now that's the background, and this is the shadow side. Let me see organically as we go through and see if there are some shots that I can explain that to you in more detail. I'll answer a couple more questions. We've got quite a few here, but actually, let me keep on going on and I'll come back to this. Okay, so I'll answer Caesar's questions next. So let's keep on going with some photographs and we'll go from there. So in case you just joined us in the last sort of 10 minutes or so, today is a bit of retrospective. I'm going to look at some photographs that sort of defined my early career, and then I'm going to show you some recent ones as well. But I thought it'd be fun to just reconnect with you guys and sort of show you just a bit of history. You know, I've been doing this for 30 years professionally. I've been teaching for over 20 years. And there are certain images that basically people have recognized me for. And I thought it'd be fun to share those with you and what it took to create them. This next one was an interesting wedding. This is actually in New South Wales. The state that Sydney is in Australia. And the couple were obsessed with the saxophone player. I don't know what it was, but when the saxophone player came out on the dance floor, they just went nuts. I'm like, okay, how do I incorporate the saxophone player in this photograph? So I'm like, okay, why don't we go outside and maybe have some fun outdoors and maybe backlight with flash. Now, this is back in the day when not many people were doing it. There were not many triggers that did it. So now, of course, everybody does it. I'm not saying I started it. I certainly was one of the ones that popularized it in our industry, perhaps in the wedding industry. So there I was. I walked outside in that thin, crisp country air, but these bugs and dust particles were hitting my face. I could clearly feel them. And I'm like, if I backlit these little suckers with flash, it'll look like rain. So that's what I did. So I got the couple nice and close, and there was a little bit of ambience coming from the tent hitting them. And then I took this shot. There's a little bit of blur in her, and certainly I could probably perfect it now in these days and everything like that. But this was shot 15 years ago, maybe 18 years ago. I don't really know. But again, it helped define my early career. It made me stand out. Like this kind of shot, we've all done before. But have you added someone who plays music, an instrument or a violin or a guitar or something like this? It adds that extra element. And what I was very hungry for, and I still am, is what little nuance or difference can I make? In other words, I'm a chef. I'm making a meal that everyone has tasted before. What ingredient can I add that makes this unique to me, that makes it memorable? Here's another one that was very difficult. This couple, beautiful couple, Alex and Hazel in Miami. I was photographing their wedding, and they're actually photographers. And I went on the beach, and I'm like, it's pitch black by the time we got to the beach. What am I going to do? There's no ambience. There's a bit of ambience from where all the buildings are, but there's really no ambience on the beach. I didn't really have a continuous light. I think I had a little one, just enough to illuminate them. But how do I create something amazing in pitch black and all I had was one off-camera flash? Well, what I did is I put my white balance on shade, which makes everything go warmer. I put I think it was about a second exposure. And if I pop the flash, it doesn't really matter whether it's rear curtain or front curtain. Certainly rear curtain, as in the flash go off at the end of the exposure, will be safer in case there's any ambience hitting the subject. I'm going to freeze the subject and get this beautiful warm tone that with your own two eyes just look like pitch black darkness. But if you expose for it, then you turn your white balance to shade, it'll go warm. And what you're seeing right now, it's actually not rain. It's because back in the day, I was one of the first in our industry to actually film almost every shoot. For the past 14 years, I've filmed almost every shoot. And you might say, Jerry, where's all that footage? Well, people on my training side have seen it for 14 years. I've probably got 10 more years worth in the archives that I haven't shared yet. Stay tuned. I'm trying to find someone to help me out with social media and video and reels and things like that. So if you are an editor and if you're great on social media and you want to recycle some videos and share some inspiration around the world, contact Melissa. Any of our websites will go to Melissa. So put on a contact form. Hey, Jerry mentioned needs an editor and perhaps a social media person. Hey, you never know, might work together. Anyway, in the meantime, this shot. So what you're seeing here is just a crappy HD 720p video, not HD, whatever it was back then, 720p video. Hope you enjoy. Lean forward towards me, darling. That's it. And free hands. And just bend your arm a little bit, just a little bit. Actually, you know what? Go out again. Go out again. There you go. Love that. Keep that look. Keep that look. Don't lose it. Keep the hands out, really free. Just breathe through your mouth, really feel this wind. Flashlight off. So there's the shot. This was, again, probably, man, I would say 15 odd years ago. I don't really remember exactly the dates, but it's really fun that you can create these images in pitch black darkness. So you might say, well, how would I do this? Just make sure there's no ambience around. Like in your backyard, there might be a little bit of ambience from the houses around you, but go somewhere where it's pitch black and try it. Now, what I did was I lowered my camera angle and I shot up. I got her to lean forward to correct my perspective, and because you would swear that she wasn't leaning forward at all. And now it looks like an angel just sort of ascending or descending. And we've got that beautiful warmth. And this is, I think this is actually out of camera. I don't think that this one's been retouched from memory. So it shows you what you can achieve in a difficult environment. This is the next shot that I did. This is a homage to Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel, the creation of Adam. I didn't want to sort of do it the way the painting is. I thought I want an excuse to sort of pay homage to that painting. So perhaps the groom is just offering his hand to her. And that's how I basically took this shot. All right, let me do a few more questions here, and then we'll get back to it. Caesar, did the mirrorless system shift your vision? Caesar, I'd say yes and no. When the Z6 and the Z7 came out with the Nikon camera system, whatever the equivalent was in other camera systems, the two words that I describe is fun and efficient. Like you can see live exposure. It made it really efficient. Like you can see white balance going up and down. You can see exposure. Like having a light meter these days is almost useless because you can see what you're doing. Like, and you're shooting raw. There's some forgiveness there as well. And it was fun. It's just a fun approach. Now with the Z9, Nikon's flagship mirrorless camera, I would say freedom and confidence. So if I'm doing a portrait now and I've got the camera on a tripod, I will have the camera on auto area AF, so I focus, and then I'll just crop and compose, and I'll just engage my subject and fire away. I photograph and film performers these days, and with the ability to do filmmaking and shoot with performers that are moving very, very quickly with the eye focus is just fantastic. Sometimes I don't rely on it. I sort of have a habit of, moving the focus point to the eye. Like it's almost like there's automatic cars that exist in the world, but why do they sell manual when you can do it automatically? Well, there's sometimes you just want to drive, and there's sometimes you want to leave it like a Dodgem car where the camera sort of does its own work. So I've really enjoyed it. I just find that it's just given me freedom, confidence, fun, and efficiency. So that's a great way of just explaining it. Jennifer says, are you two going to make an educational book like other photographers have? So Jennifer, I've been offered book deals my whole career, and my heart says yes, my mind says no. I'll be very pragmatic to you right now. When you do a book, the publishers give you next to nothing, and it takes probably 6 months to a year out of your life. And to sacrifice the engagement with my clients, be it weddings, portraits, fashion, boudoir, my clients, as in photographer clients that I educate, I find I like to educate very visually. And my medium that I've used mainly is, again, I was one of the first ones in this industry to do online education. I started my educational platform, guionis.com, in 2008. And I've been filming everything. So because I prefer personally to learn visually, and I like to hear the cadence and the expression and how I engage people, I sort of want to do the same for other people. I've done 2 books. I'll talk about one book very shortly, but I've basically published 2 books, not really educational, more inspirational coffee table sort of style. And I think, who knows, it might happen. But look, while we're on that subject, guys, I want to show you something that's amazing today. So I do have an ulterior motive today, apart from the fact that I haven't connected with you guys for a long time. My ulterior motive, unashamedly, is I have a win-win for you and an incredible cause. So let me go ahead and explain what that basically means. I have an educational book. I have a coffee table book called Darling. Some of you may have already purchased it from WPPI or seen me on the road and everything like that. I realized that I have a few copies left, quite a few copies left. And I'm like, well, just so you know too, Melissa and I also own a charity. And I'm like, what if we did a sale on the book? We included shipping. We covered the cost of that, and all the net proceeds go to our charity. Well, that is just a no-brainer. We've had people all over the world saying, Jared, I'd love to buy your book, but it's $150. By the time I pay for shipping in a remote part of the world, it ends up being over $200. this is crazy. How can I get one? And I can't come to one of your seminars. I'm in this country, whatever. And I'm like, let's just do a sale. So I said to Melissa, this is just crazy. Let's have a sale on the book. So as you can see here, I will sign the copy for you personally. It's $99 as opposed to $49, and 100% of the net proceeds will be given to our charity, the Soul Society. So free worldwide shipping, that'll be within the $99, and the offer ends August the 5th. For those watching right now, if you go to jerryjerryjerry.com, leave this tab open, but jerryjerryjerry.com, and the top link in that bio, basically it's the bio within my Instagram. So my Instagram bio link on the top, there is a button. You can go there. And like I said, $99, 100% of the net proceeds will go to our charity. And I'm very, very excited about making a difference. We've done some incredible projects, which are great. So here's a bit of a look at the book. It's a hardcover book. It is a beautiful book. It's very personal, and it does share a lot of the photographs that I'm sharing today. They're all in there. Also, there's a 3D project on the bottom. There's literally 3D glasses in the book itself. So you bring it out and you can see actually some photographs that I shot in 3D. They're also set against a backdrop of my favorite quotes. Many people know them as my Jerry-isms, things that like, emotion beats perfection. I prefer both. Or you don't have to be the best. You simply have to be better than last week. Things like that. But every single photograph has exposure data and where it was taken, and it's set against a backdrop of quotes and some stories about my life. And it's very personal. The money goes to our charity. Like I said, a lot of people don't know that we have a charity. We've done some incredible causes over the years in Africa and Ethiopia and Nepal. It's been an incredible journey, and we want to continue to do this. And Melissa and I just simply feel like we've all gone through a tough time last couple of years. Wouldn't it be cool to have a bit of inspiration, a little piece of me at home with you, but then we can basically also give money to a charity. Now, our mandate is we care for poor, homeless, and orphan children in third world countries. We have to know at least 1 degree of separation between us and the person or the organization that can make a difference, so that we know that our money is not just wasted. It's going to be very specifically, we're building this house, or we're doing this project, or whatever it may be. The book is fun. Like I said, this is just me throughout the years, so I won't leave that up there too long, but that's me over the years. This is that 3D project. This will mean nothing to you without 3D glasses, but you will find them, like I said, a pair in the book itself. These kind of quotes is what I'm saying. Like, if you photograph through the eyes of a loved one, you will only ever see beauty. This happens to be a photograph that I took of Melissa on our wedding day. I would not do this with another bride. Can you imagine going to a bride, and say, hey, would you hold my legs while I take this photograph? But there you go. I love the book. I'm very proud of it. Like I said, if you want to make a difference to a lot of people, you'll be surprised on how a little bit goes a long way. I'm sure you know that in third world countries, but just know that these projects, we always know where the money is going very specifically. And after the sale, we will announce what the money did in what occasion. So if during or after this broadcast, you feel like someone could benefit from this book, if you've already got it yourself, buy it for somebody else, or maybe link to a photographer that may appreciate it. So let us know. Also, I've had a few questions about in-person workshops. Obviously, the last couple of years, it's been impossible to do in-person workshops. We just did one after the heat of the pandemic here in May, here in Vegas, and it's one of my favorite things to do. I got 20 people. I can literally change your life in 5 days. And over 1,000 people have done this. And that's how long I've been doing these workshops. We do have an early bird. So if you want to save $1,000, so right now, we have a workshop coming up in Australia. So this is in Australian dollars. So if you're anywhere near Australia, or you want an excuse to have a tax write-off, come to Australia at the end of the year. And basically your registration fee is $2,990. You will save $1,000 for this workshop. So $3,000, that covers all meals, your tuition, models, all that kind of stuff. You only pay for your flights and accommodation, but that is there. So please, if you want to save $1,000, again, go to jerryjerryjerry.com. It's basically a link, the link in my Instagram bio. Now, if you're here in the US, we've also got a $1,000 discount on an early bird registration. So we've just opened up our workshop for next May in Vegas. And if you want to save $1,000, jump on in there, register your place, and trust me, it will change your life. The feedback has been incredible ever since we've started them. In fact, even Melissa herself had done my workshop, and her business changed long before we got together as a couple. This was a bit of fun. Someone basically, a lot of people say this has been on my bucket list, has been on my bucket list. And I'm like, well, all right, maybe you've already eaten the bloomin' onion from Outback Steakhouse. Maybe one of my workshops is on your bucket list, and maybe you want to, master lighting and posing and become a profitable photographer and experience something life-changing. So why not join us for a workshop? So like I said, go to jerry.com, and then you'll see the links in there. If you've got any questions about that, ask Melissa and or during this broadcast, and we can work this out. And it's embarrassing that the next image has a text overlay that I did not delete. So I'm just letting you know it's coming, and I acknowledge my fault. This one. I see some questions on my peripheral vision. I'll come to those in a moment. And again, ignore the title card here. Okay, so this photograph, you can see, obviously it's a beautiful location. It's a very popular spot in Melbourne, Australia, that is stunning. It's almost impossible to get rid of that distortion because I am photographing with a 14mm lens. What I needed is, like, where do I put the bride? Like, if I had her on the top left, it'd be okay, but I'd barely see her head and shoulders. So I need some reason for her to make me feel like I was in the right place at the right time, where this bride walked down and I caught her at the right occasion with a light hitting her. And that's really defines my style. What I like to do is I like to photograph in a way that is glamorous and natural. You feel like I happened to be there at the right place at the right time as I did this, but usually 90% of those shots are actually directed to appear that way. And I find that that particular style is very hard to achieve. I've been trying to master it my whole career. Glamorous and natural, like beautiful and flattering and purposeful, as well as have the appearance that it could have happened on its own. So having her there, turning her face to the light and her face and her body away from it. See, her body away from the light gives me a shadow on her cleavage in the middle of a dress, gives me depth and dimension and form. Her face into the light is just exquisite. And I love the veil and the train going up the staircase, and then leading your eye right in. And even though staircase in the foreground, it invites you in the photograph as well. It's hard to, with those lights in the corner, whenever you include a light source in a photograph, it'll usually be the brightest part of the image. You can dull it down, darken it down, but you'll very rarely get that darker than the result of that light. So you sort of give yourself some creative freedom there to adjust and play. Okay, this next photograph, people have been asking me about this a long time, actually. How did I achieve this photograph? Well, first of all, we're doing a workshop, and I saw this rope light on a mannequin, and it was just a random location that we had booked. And I saw this rope light. I mean, imagine, like, how cool would it be to wrap this around a face and different body parts so it can illuminate just little edges. It would look fiery and beautiful and stunning. And then what I had to do is, this was actually on a bed, asked permission, of course, with all respect. I stood above her, and she was literally between my legs, and I was photographing. My body weight stretched out the sheets, and that's what gives it the fiery edges that just fades away into the light. So if you are a boudoir photographer, it's a really, really cool tool to use. So just go on Amazon or something and just look for, rope lights. And some you'll find that are warm or white or combination. I'm assuming they'll be RGB by now, but I would suggest a warm tone like this would be amazing. You can cover up the naughty bits with a pose. You can illuminate the fringes of the naughty bits around the edges, and it just looks beautiful. Okay, let's have a look at a couple more of your questions here. Oh, we've got quite a few, so thank you so much for having some fun here. Just a quick question too, just a thought there, guys. So the book is normally $149. So let me just rephrase that just to correct something in case you didn't understand. The book is usually $149. We're selling the Darling book for $99. It includes free worldwide shipping. We cover the costs of that, and the net proceeds will go to our charity. Okay, so that's why if it costs you $50 to send in other parts of the world, that's okay. We'll cover those costs within that, and the net proceeds will go to our charity. Okay, so the usual price is $149. The price now is $99. And like I said, the net proceeds go to our charity. And in case you've just joined us, we're selling my book for $99 at a discounted rate, practically a third of the price, or a third of the price. And it's basically going to be, the link will be in the bio link of my Instagram on the top link, and that'll get you there. And I'm sure Melissa perhaps is putting in the comments as well. Jennifer asks, since you're a Nikon representative and ambassador, I have a question. I have a D200, yes, an old camera. I now want a full frame camera. What would you recommend? I have a lot of old prime lenses that I would like to keep. Jennifer, I love you, but it's time to move on. I am telling you, there's a romantic notion attached to your lenses. I get it. There's probably some history there. You may think it's part of your legacy and you want to keep them. I thought that way forever. I am telling you, I had 15 lenses, something like that. Obviously, I've got the 6 and the 6.2, the 7.7.2 in Nikon. I got the Z9. The mirrorless lenses are faster, they're lighter, they're better. If I were you, I would only keep your specialty lenses. It could be like a 400mm lens or a 200 lens or anything that's hard to get. Any of your basic lenses, a wide angle lens, a 50mm, 7-200, 24-70, whatever, I would just go mirrorless. If you want a full frame camera, the Z9 is incredible. I'm sure there's probably something on the horizon. As an ambassador, I couldn't tell you even if I knew, but there would have to be something on the horizon, whether it's a Z6 III, a Z7 III, a Z8, I don't know. There's got to be something on the horizon. I would say, have a look at the Z9 and just play. If you love it, go for it. It's a fantastic camera. I shoot everything with it now, filmmaking, performers, weddings, portraits, you name it. And it's fantastic. But I think once you go for mirrorless, it's very hard to go back. I have sold all my cameras. When I got rid of all my lenses and my older cameras, I'm telling you, I made about 20 odd grand. And it bought me all this stuff. And I'm like, well, this is a no-brainer. Like, and even if you have it on a shelf, like I've got a few cameras opposite me right now. They're like, you show someone, okay, there's my camera and whatever. Keep a sentimental one for that value, but just move on. And if you're in any other camera system, just go mirrorless. It's not the future, it's now. Like it is now. Again, it's more fun, more efficient, more freedom, more confidence. And if you're feeling a bit funny about it, rent one for a day or a week and see how you feel. Okay, Paola asks, how do you know when it's time to change to full frame? What are the benefits? What will be better in my wedding photos, considering that I do not only do weddings? So Paola, it doesn't matter whether you photograph weddings or portraits. Basically, if you're photographing people or anything, sports, no matter what it is, mirrorless, the benefits of mirrorless is crazy. You can see live exposure, like you can see what the exposure would look like in your final frame. There's no guesswork. You don't even have to understand, and I hate to say this out loud, you don't even have to know exposure anymore. Would it be good to know what it means? Sure. But what I do, like this gives you an example of what efficiency it does. Okay. So on my camera, on the Z9, I've got 3 function buttons. Okay. As in 3 buttons that I can actually choose what function it basically does. Okay. Now, what do I do when I'm photographing a portrait or in a scene? I put it on a safe handheld shutter speed. So let's say I've got walking shots or moving shots with laughing, whatever. I might think 200, 250 speed is more than enough to freeze those very subtly moving shots, 250 speed. Let's say I want an f-stop, like my depth at 3.5. Great. So I'm on my manual setting, 250, 3.5, and then I just move the ISO until my little mini TV looks good. That's really it. I'm looking for detail on the brightest highlight in the face, and that's it. Now, what I do is this. My lens, most lenses, and that's another thing to do with mirrorless, you can actually do a function control on your lens. So rather it be like a manual focus, because you'll very rarely use manual focus, your ring on your lens or a dedicated ring, so some lenses have that as well, you can make it so that adjusts the ISO. But think of it this way. You're photographing a ceremony in bright sun, then backlit, and you're like, well, what do I do? Well, you can photograph in RAW and aperture priority and hope for the best, but wouldn't it be cool to know what you're doing and why you're doing it and quickly make that resolve? So 250 speed, 3.5. And now you simply move your ring that's ISO till it looks good. Now my 3 function buttons do this. My first button acts as my menu. I put all the shortcuts to things that I use frequently in my menu. The second button, I basically have as a playback button. I can show the shot that I just took. My third function button will 100% magnify the preview photograph. Think of it this way. I'm shooting at a shallow depth, maybe at f1.8 or a 1.2 lens, 50mm 1.2. I could take a shot, preview it, zoom up to it within literally a second and know it's in focus, where before I might have to photograph 10 shots to know one's sharp. Whereas now, not only the eye focus is great, so that's another thing. Eye focus, the focus will grab the eye and it takes a lot of the guesswork out. It does the heavy lifting. You can focus on engaging with your clients and basically composing. So it just, like I said, you're going to go mirrorless one day. You just don't waste time. You're going to have fun. It's going to be more efficient. You'll have more freedom and more choice there as well. Okay. Thank you, Paolo, for that question. Shannon says, how do you handle a situation when someone at the wedding absolutely refuses to be photographed, but the bride and groom really want you to capture them? How would you overcome that challenge? Shannon, we've all been there. It depends. I mean, if they've said like blankly no in front of the couple, you sort of have to respect that. If you want to take a photograph sort of without their permission, it really depends. So for example, if the bride and groom wanted a photograph up with this person, but then the person independently of the bride and groom said no, go to the couple and let them be the bad guy. Hey, bride, can you go up to this person and say, it'd mean a lot to me to have a photograph with you. Would that be okay? You know what? Just where you're standing is totally fine. Just, and that's it. So if they say no, they're saying no to the couple. Now, if they say no to the couple, then well, that's sort of your get out of jail free card. As far as I'm concerned, if they just wanted a shot, let's say it could be someone who's aging, probably someone maybe who's going to pass away or something. You don't know the circumstances behind it. There could be in an industry where they don't want to be seen in the photograph. You also have to respect that. If it's purely just that being a pain in the ass and you need to photograph them, it could be that you just get the couple, hey guys, go up to the couple, go up to your friend and just have a chat with them. Go back, long lens, take a shot. It may not be looking in the camera smiling, but it will be as good as you can get under the circumstances. You just got to be patient. Do the best you can under the circumstances. That's the best you can do, and give yourself every opportunity to have some time to do that, and you'll be fine. Okay, let's have a look. Al says, in a photo of the couple with the saxophone player, why did you have the sax player facing away from the couple? It's purely for the flow. So let me go back. Okay, let me go back here for a second. Okay, so with this photograph, I was asked, why do we have the saxophone player away? It balances, like they're back to back with the bride. I think that if he turned around, it would be almost like two tree stumps. It's dead. Like there's two people and it's just dead. I feel like what we're doing is this photo could be good independently. Like you could chop it in half and it's a separate photograph. You look at it together, it balances that yin and yang type of vibe. And also the curve of his shoulder sort of almost fits into almost like the curve of her back. And it just feels right. And again, for me, negative space behind someone represents mystery, and negative space in front of someone represents harmony. So the fact that there is negative space behind the saxophone player and behind the bride adds more mystery, which suits the execution of this photograph. Okay, let's have a look here. All right, let me keep on going on and I'll answer your questions in a moment. Let's go to this one. People ask me, Jerry, how do you combine those 5 steps in the photograph and how do you evoke emotion? The following shot of a bridal party will actually pretty much illustrate those 5 steps in action. So watch this. On her right side and cuddle her from behind. So now let's say, where are we here? Can I have best man just here?
Yes, I'm an Aussie.
Can I over here, mate? Just on this side. Ali, yep. Turn this way and just shuffle your feet in, and that's it. And now turn your faces into each other this way.
That looks like a bite. Ali, have you been nibbling your
new wife?
biting her already?
Hey, gorgeous. I want you to come in here. Come really close and cuddle up to the bride. Cuddle up to her.
She's amazing.
I should bring your hand just here. That's perfect. I'm going to have to maneuver you last minute to get you out of the flower there. And over here, mate, so a bit closer.
And
Get in there.
that's it. Just,
It's fine.
I want you looking here. You looking there. You guys looking at each other.
Again.
You guys looking into each other.
winking.
You looking over
Winking.
here.
Winking.
You snuggling in, foreheads touching. Okay, you looking over there and you're looking over there. In that position that I, guys, in that position that I gave you, I need you giggling. I need you laughing, having fun. On the count of 3. All right, now, important, everyone, please look at the place where I told you. Do not look at me. Bit of giggling, bit of fun. Q, I want to see you, mate. I want to see you, Q, leaning this way. Yeah, that's it, that's it. And don't look at me. So some of you have seen this photograph before. It's one of the photographs on my website, my Instagram, that people book me for. And you look at this and you see that it was orchestrated. I literally told everyone where to look. I learned early in my career that I was just impatient and waiting for magic. I just want to create it. If I waited for that couple with those friends to happen to be there at that time, at that place, with those flowers, that expression, I would still be waiting. So I find that when the pressure is on you, you just have to perform. So in this case, I did a shot looking in the camera, smiling, everyone lined up like they're on a firing squad. We all do that. But there's times where you just want to break it up a little bit. Now, you may have heard me say, don't look at me. Now, when I say don't look at me, you want to look at me. So I sometimes say, like, listen to my words without, you'll be tempted to look at me, but don't look at me. And by the time I fix the last person, the first person now is ruined. So it's one of those constant things, and you have to assert a presence and an energy of confidence that you know what you're doing and take your time. I think too many of us worry about what the couple are worrying about, and it affects our performance. Take your time and you'll be fine. This one here, no one's going to remember, oh, that's when Jerry posed us. They're going to say, no, this is best friends hanging out and having some fun. Isn't this amazing? Like, that's what it's all about. So this was done a very long time ago. This one was a long time ago. What I did, and again, for those of you just joined us, we are sharing a bit of a retrospective of my work over the past several years. Just, a handful of my favorites over the years, and some sort of hallmark photographs that have sort of defined my career. And we're going to share some new ones as well towards the end of the presentation today as well. This one here, I sort of wanted to show you that the trees gave me the idea of this shot. The trees are kissing, and I'm like, well, we've got to have the couple kissing. And I want the horizon of that fence line to be underneath their bust and their body, so that we envelop them, so we don't get any distracting lines in between them. We have the light sort of shining, beautiful blessing on them, so to speak. And yeah, it's just fun to use your environment as a way of giving you an idea for a pose. This shot here, if you know David Hockney, and if you've ever studied photography, his name would have come up. He was the master, among many things, of the Polaroid collage. He would actually photograph similar subject matter, sometimes at different days and different times of day, and put them together in a very unique collage. And when I was, when I could enter competition at WPPI, because now we run it, I legally can't enter, but when I could, every single year I would try to just create something very unique and very different. And I decided to pay homage to David Hockney. And this was a shot where this was basically out of 3 photographs. And I basically merged them in one by one and deliberately disheveled them to give you an appearance that it's 3-dimensional, or there's almost like motion blur. And that formed the foundation, and it was almost like the prototype of the rest of the album. And I ended up doing the whole album as well, but I wanted to show you that just for a bit of fun. This next photograph was very difficult to achieve because I was in Rome. I was in this room full of guys. They wanted a photograph. So basically there was like 20, 30 guys, and said, Jerry, I want to take a photograph. And I had one speed light on camera. Well, what do? The walls were red. So I got Melissa to hold a reflector behind me. I got my flash, turned it backwards. It basically hit the reflector like there was like a halo behind me, and that became my light source. The actual flash was not my light source. Similar to how we liken light to water, I have a very, very strong high pressure hose. If I basically just bounce it and deflect it off a wall, now the whole area is going to be damp or wet, so to speak. And that's how I created this shot. Now, how did I get this expression? just like that previous bridal party shot, I went in there and I quickly gave them an expression. I said, hey, you guys look that way, look this way, look that way, almost deliberate confusion, because it is the imperfection of the shot is what makes it look real. Now, no guys just happen to be there and do that. But if you look at it, all of those guys sort of have something going on. There's like, dozens of stories in there within the one story. But again, this was done with one bounce speed light. This next one, it's been done to death so many times now in our industry that I sort of don't like to do it much anymore. I believe I was one of, if not the first, to popularize this idea of backlighting with flash during the rain. This was done, well over a decade ago, 15 years ago, whatever it was. And I was walking back to my car in the rain, and I'm like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool to get the couple out to do a backlit shot with rain? Wouldn't the rain look incredible? So I didn't really even ask their permission. I said, guys, got an incredible idea for a photograph. We're going to go out in the rain. I'm going to backlight you with flash. The water is going to look incredible. It's going to be an amazing finale to this beautiful story. Let's do it. It was sort of almost just, let's do it. It wasn't like hey, is it okay? We got out there, backlit it with flash, and then boom, we got that rain. And then again, that became a signature of mine that people booked me for. Now everyone has done it, and it's losing its flavor a little bit, but it's just fun to share the early inspiration there. This next photograph was inspired by this photograph, and it was actually done during the day. Some of you have seen me before, may have seen this before, but for those of you who haven't, it's fun to share. How do you achieve this look during the day? Have a watch.
Well, I need a dark background, otherwise it's not going to work. So let's go where the trees are. Babe, I want to get you here. Let's just test the flash. You are going to get soaked. It's the last shot of the day. You need to look at each other. Without passion in this photograph, it's just going to be nothing at all. I need you to look at each other like you're hungry and you're each other's meals. All right? Look at each other's lips. I want you perfectly front on, and then we're going to backlight it with flash. And as soon as we get it, we're done. Okay? All I need is your faces. Now bring your hair behind your ears. Beautiful. I want you to face each other now and hold each other really close. Your hand on his chest there, darling, and that right hand down. Down. Now, come, see how Johnny's closer to me than you? Come closer towards me. Stop. Now, I want you to lean, both of you lean this way. Stop. That's it. Beautiful. Now, chin down a slight touch, Johnny, but don't tilt your head towards me. That's it. Leaning closer. Stop there. Look at each other's lips, guys. Now, that's it. Now, bring your hand up higher, darling. That's it. Chin down, gorgeous. Tilt your face towards me, mate, just a little bit. Stop. Go closer together.
So what is this sorcery? How did we get this shot during the day? Well, what I did is I found a dark place in my environment. I used a longer lens and I isolated a piece of darkness, which was basically underneath the trees, with some foliage in the background. It was raining. And again, it wasn't really a question. It was just, let's do it. And they were both committed. Then what I did is I had her slightly come closer to me. So the flash hits her face and softens him up a little bit. And then we get that beautiful rain and a really great shot as a finale to their story. Now, yes, is the light hitting the back of her hair and it's coming out and there's just a lot of detail lost in the back of her dress. I'm not after perfection under the circumstances. Think of it like a really difficult high dive at the Olympics and there's a bit of a splash. Sometimes that'll happen. There are times where I try to be flawless per se, but sometimes it loses the feel or the flavor. So in an effort for perfection, so to speak, which is unattainable, like I said, I feel like it's an execution of my desired result. What I try to do is give myself forgiveness where I need it. Like sometimes you have to sacrifice that perfection for the soul of the image. If you can actually construct a pose and light and everything like that, as I call it, I construct something, it almost looks too good to be true. That deconstruction of that pose is what makes it look real. And that probably follows on from a question a lead up here, Gainaro, and I apologize if it's a mispronunciation of your name, Gainaro. Your photos seem very natural. Thank you. Brides have all of the details on their faces, pimples, etc. Usually, photographers try to remove these details and make the bride look like a model. Do you recommend giving up skin editing? Well, first of all, making everyone look like a model. For me, it's just bringing out the best in someone. I can't make anyone look like a model. I'm basically, with lighting, with an angle, with lens choice, with perspective, compression, and retouching, we can bring out the best in someone. What I sort of tend to do with retouching is I don't like to retouch things that are permanent. Okay, so like for me, I'm missing a third of my index finger. That's permanent. I'm not going to add a finger, the rest of my finger, to someone like me, unless a groom basically asks, hey, can you do that? There are some people who are very conscious and want to actually retouch everything and nip tuck everything. And there's some people that they celebrate what others don't. So you have to sort of be very careful and understanding. We're living in 2022. The world has changed. Everyone's a bit more sensitive to everybody else, which can work against us and can work for us. But I think it's great that we're acknowledging everything, different body types and different perspectives and ethnicities. I love it. I think for those reasons, I'm loving the time that we're living in. There, people basically just, all right, we're understanding each other as well. We need a lot more of that, but it is what it is. In terms of retouching, I don't do my own retouching. I think it's a waste of time. I think as a business owner, doing your own retouching is a waste of time. I believe that if you are a business owner, you should be looking on your business rather than in it. Now, because I'm an artist, I can't send an artist out to do a Jerry Guionis portrait. It's just not going to work. So there's parts of my job I have to do, but retouching I don't have to do. I direct in a way that this is what I want. And my retouching that I request is basically retouching that doesn't look like it. I want color correction and I want skin, like I find like the redness in skin, like smoothing out skin using frequency separation so you can attack the texture and the color separately. I think very important. Those kinds of things are important. I'm using, have used for years. I've used other companies here and there, but a constant that I've had over the years is capture to print. So capture to print. .com.au, I think it is. Melissa, maybe you can confirm that. Rocco Ancora, who's an incredible photographer and an amazing retoucher. He does all my stuff now, and he's incredible. So just give it up. Don't waste your time. Don't worry about the money that you're parting with. Think about the hours you have free now to work on your business rather than in it. Ted asks, what haven't you photographed that you want to shoot? What's on your photography bucket list that you can share? Ted, I've got to say, I'm actually doing that right now. I like, don't get me wrong. Someone says, dead or alive, who would you love to photograph? Well, Marilyn Monroe, duh. Jesus, who else would you want to photograph? I mean, so yes, there's particular subjects that I'd like to photograph, but in terms of the genre or what I'm doing, like lately, I've had an obsession with performers. Living in Las Vegas, I have access to incredible performers here. It's addicting. And I love the fact that they're not preceded by persona. I've got friends who photograph a lot of celebrities, and usually you get 2 minutes. And if you photograph their wedding, they want it for free. You don't make much money if you do it all. And it's all about the spectacle, very rarely about the family. And I'm like, I'd rather do the weddings that I do. And as far as the portraits and fashion work, I'm really enjoying the performers at the moment. So yeah, I am living my dream every day. So Ted, I know that's probably a bit of a cliche, but that is a fact. Jennifer asks, how do you keep on learning? Jennifer, it's basically the combination of repetition, experience, and practice. Every time I shoot, I learn a quicker way of getting there in a more efficient way. It could be a bit of verbiage that I've used, an angle of light, something, just everything that I'm doing. I'm a bit of a sponge. I wouldn't say I've got a photographic memory, but I've got a good, very good visual memory. And I just learn different ways of getting to the destination. I learned to trust myself. And my biggest inspiration, I would say, are movies, fashion, music. I find those things are there. Sculpture is one of my favorite art forms as well. But they're the things that I pretty much like to look at for inspiration. And I'm always learning. I mean, I force myself to learn. If I'm watching a movie, I'm like, how do they do that? And sometimes I'll Google it and find it on YouTube and find that scene. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. and that gives me a perspective as well. So Paula asks, we all know that you like to get images right in camera, but when you retouch, like that photo in the cathedral and the light blue sky, how do you know when to stop editing? Well, if you're asking the question, it means you've overcooked it. If you've got your print, or so to speak, your image on the desktop or in the oven, so to speak, and you think it's burnt, it probably is. My advice to you is stop adding embellishments to maybe replace what things should have been there in the first place. Don't get me wrong. I don't demonize Photoshop. Production's amazing. There are several composites that I have done and am doing that rely heavily on Photoshop. That's impossible to do without. But my day-to-day work is very clean. And I feel like we always want to add something to it because we feel like it'll taste better. But the more ingredients you add, the more it doesn't taste like that dish that you wanted to present. So my advice is to aim to be timeless with what you do, not timely. In other words, in 5 years' time, will that look good? And perhaps start there. I'll come back to some thoughts and questions in a moment. Let's keep on going. This next photograph that I want to show you is one of my favorites of my career. This took a while to get, and this was at the end of the night. It was about 11:30, give or take, at the end of the reception. The bride and groom were done. And I had this incredible idea for a photograph. I wanted a deliberately disheveled reception and had the couple with a quiet moment, like a bit of a metaphor, like the wedding's sort of about the celebration of them coming together as a family. But I like the idea that it's just quiet. It's just them. And we see the remnants of the party. The couple come up to me and say, Jerry, we love you. I'd love to, be here for the photograph, but we wanted to have an after party just next door. And I said, do you guys have to come back here on your way back to the bridal room before you go home? I said, yes, but it'll be late. We're going to be here for a couple of hours. I said, how about if you see me here by the time you walk back to your bridal room to get changed to go back to the hotel, whatever, that you allow me to take photographs. Even though that I'm doing them the favor, I sort of made it out as if they were doing me the favor. Sure enough, they went to the party, they came back, and to their surprise, we were there, to the dismay of Sally, my assistant at the time, Melissa, who was there as well. And we did this photograph. This was lit with about 4 or 5 tea candles, and it remains to be one of my hero shots that people have booked me for over the years. Very important if you're photographing with a light that's lower than your subject, that you have to get your couple to tilt towards the light source to basically not have those unflattering shadows on the upper cheekbones, which is very, very important to not ignore. That negative space, I left the word teller there on the right-hand side because that location, I think it's Cipriani, opposite the Grand Central Station, used to be a bank. So that little bit of history there, I quite like the idea of that being there too. And it's funny, we may go to locations that are considered cliche. And I remember doing a workshop in London and I was like, oh my God, there's the red phone boxes. And the local English photographers were like, Jerry, it's boring. It's like, everyone's photographed at the telephone boxes like forever. And this is boring. Why are you taking us here? It's cliche for us. I'm like, well, it's not for me. Maybe I might give you a different perspective. So I basically had an ice light around the corner illuminating the couple. I photographed with I think it was 85-1.2 back then or whatever it was. And then I ended up getting this photograph, like they're just about to kiss. I've got the repetition of the phone boxes, that beautiful little highlight on them as well. And it just gives us this beautiful sort of voyeuristic look and feel, which is really, really fun. So different perspective. This is another shot from that location that you that sort of almost warped background, the staircase. This is a different perspective. I had to literally get my neck into the corner of this room. I was shooting with 14 millimeter, and I basically wanted to get the staircase just in the frame. I could just get it. Like I couldn't go any further back. I got the couple there with a couple of ice lights, illuminating them, framed in the background. And I wanted to get the motif on the ceiling. The funny thing was I posted this on social media. I went back in the day and someone said, Jerry, your work is just so fake. I mean, it just looks so fake, that ceiling. I'm like, it's fake. It's the ceiling. The motif is meant to look like you're outdoors. Come to Vegas and you will see what indoors, outdoors look like. But anyway, it's all fun. Probably one of my favorite shots of my career. Well, I wouldn't say simply done. Simply done when I tell you, but difficult when you look at it and think, how the hell did he do it? And that was this one. What I basically did here was that I was walking past this house with the groom And then I looked on my right and I saw the bride like inside the house, and I saw her vividly through the reflection of him. As I walked through, I said, wait a second, that gives me a great idea for a photograph. Wouldn't it be cool if I lowered my camera angle, raised him up, turned on his profile, I merged her face into the profile and reflection of his silhouette. So this is not a multiple exposure. This is an in-camera montage. I was very proud when this won the category this won the first place in Bride and Groom Together. And because one of the rules in there was that there's no multiple exposure, pardon me. There's no composite, so you can't use more than one image. But doing this in camera, I like the fact you see that little double reflection of his profile on his shoulder. It's almost like whose hair is which and whose shoulder is where, and without expression in this photograph, it would mean nothing. I think from memory, I said something like, just tell me you love him just with the way you're looking at him. Just simple. Rather, if I said, look that way, I need to give an expression or give her almost like a reminder of like why, permission to feel the way she's feeling. And then that beautiful elegance, that gorgeous little look looked amazing. I'm going to show you more photographs. I'm going to share with you my favorite photo of my career. I'm going to show you one of my most favorite projects I've ever done and show you some recent work as well as some older ones as well. So we're just doing a bit of a buffet of photographs in my past. So if you're enjoying a lot of these photographs that you've already seen, I believe so that every single one of them are featured in this book. Now you might be saying, Jerry, this is an unashamed plug to sell your book. I'm going to say to you, yes. And here's why it's unashamed. Number one, I'm giving you a free seminar. I'm sharing some ideas. Great, no harm, no foul. You don't want to get the book, no problem. But if you want to get some inspiration, if you want to relive the stories that I'm telling you, if you like my isms and you like some quotes that I say, and you want to take a little piece of this guy from Australia who's Greek and also American home with you, now's your time. The book, darling, is my second published book. It usually costs $149. It is on sale for $99. That's not the most exciting part. The exciting part is that 100% of the net proceeds will go to our charity. If you don't know what our charity is called the Soul Society. And that is a charity that cares for poor, homeless, and orphan children in third world countries. If you wanted to learn more about our charity, go on to thesoulsociety.org, thesoulsociety.org, and you'll see some projects that we've done and where we've basically made a huge difference to a lot of people, which we're very proud of. Free worldwide shipping. People have been asking us for years, Jerry, your book's too expensive to ship. It's hardcover, it's heavy, blah, blah, blah. And I totally get it. And I wish I had better shipping rates. I don't ship out too many things for our rates to be as competitive as these big houses that move a lot of stuff. But if you're anywhere in the world, that basically this will be covered. We have got you covered. Once we work out the shipping costs, well, the net proceeds, like I said, will go to our charity. And after the deadline of August the 5th, we will actually tell publicly what we've done with that money and certainly give you proof so that you know that all that is above board and we're looking after our charity as we've done for many, many, many years. Let me show you a bit about the book. The book is beautiful. I'm very proud of it. A lot of those photographs that I've been showing you are featured in this book. It's hardcover. There's a 3D project in there, which is really cool. You got 3D glasses in there. There's fold out pages. It's set against the backdrop of a lot of my quotes and what I teach and what I live by. This is our charity to give you sort of an idea. And there's even some photographs of me as a young kid and sort of growing up. So it gives you a bit about my history. Like I said, there's a 3D project. There's even the way I proposed to Melissa. There is a dedication to Melissa. Our vows are in that book. This photograph is a shot that I took of Melissa on our wedding day, which we're very excited about. So if you want to buy the book, go to my profile on my Instagram and the top link there. Or if you remember this, which should be very easy for you, go to jerryjerryjerry.com, jerryjerryjerry.com on the top link. You can go in there, buy the book, include your address. Shipping is free. You save $50. and all the net proceeds will go to our charity. So it's a win-win-win for everybody. Many of you have asked me, especially the last few years where we have not been able to travel. The whole world is at a standstill. Wouldn't it be cool to give you a jump start to your career? Wouldn't it be cool to help you reinvent, even if you've been doing it for a very long time? If you want to learn from us in person, there's 2 ways of doing it coming up, let alone the fact that we're also there's an early bird special. So as you can see that the top one in November 28th to December the 2nd, we basically have a 5-day workshop. You can save $1,000 for an early bird, which I believe we've never done. So maybe Melissa, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe we've ever done an early bird for our workshops. So $2,990, you'll have 5 days with us. It includes all food and all your tuition. You just got to pay to get over there unless you live there, and your hotels, of course. And then, of course, we've got the workshop, our annual one that we do here in May in Las Vegas. And again, you can save $1,000 for your experience with us. And a lot of people have said to me over the years, Jerry, this has been my bucket list. So I thought, why not, if you've already perhaps eaten the bloomin' onion from Outback Steakhouse, great, you've ticked that off the list. Maybe you might want to tick this workshop off your list, and certainly in the process, learn about lighting and posing and being profitable, learning about sales, business, marketing, branding. And it is life-changing. I can say that with 100% confidence that everyone that we've taught over the years, it's over 1,000 people at 20 at a time. Believe it or not, I've been doing it this long. All have benefited, and everyone says the same thing. We're very proud of it, and I know I can make a difference to you, and Melissa as well, and we'd love to see you there. And again, if you want more information or to book the workshop, go to jerryjerryjerry.com, and I think it's the 2nd, 3rd, 4th link there. You'll basically see a link to the workshops, and then you can benefit from the early bird registration. All right, let's continue on our journey here by showing you some more photographs. This one was, I mentioned that 5-day wedding in Rome, I think the biggest wedding I've ever done. This was just, I'd never seen anything lavish like this. This is basically where the couple are coming down the recessional, and you know, I just wasn't shy. Like they were walking and they weren't looking at each other, weren't really smiling. And I'm like, hey guys, like, I want you to pretend like you just got married. I give her a kiss on the cheek, lean her forward, dip her up. Like, so I like to just capture the magic that exists, excuse me, but create magic of my own. And this, again, this expression, what happened here, just wouldn't have happened unless I went for it. This is a very difficult shot to achieve. Although it's simple in its result, so to speak, the execution is tough. And why? Well, I am shooting very directly a bird's eye view with a long focal lens, a long lens. So I need to hide their legs because their heads are going to come out of their feet. It just looks weird. So if I hide the evidence of how they're standing, then you don't really focus on their feet, even though that they would be hidden, but the perspective and the compression, the distortion look a little bit weird. I also need both of them to turn their faces a certain way so that I get light on both of them. So what do? I get him to kiss her on the jaw. She tilts her face, and we get this beautiful golden ratio, the Fibonacci sort of just wrapping around, and then boom, getting your eye really pointed right in there to that beautiful moment. And again, that sort of helped define my early career in terms of one of these shots. This next shot was very difficult to achieve. In fact, I made it more difficult than it should have been, because I'd finished the wedding. I was driving home. I didn't need to stop. I was home free, did a great job. I was ready to go home. I was hungry. I was thirsty. Then I saw a beautiful sunset brewing. I'm like, okay. I'm like, wouldn't it be great to get the couple and go out there in the field and do this shot? I may just score the sunset the way I wanted it to. And as soon as I say that in my brain, I call it my creative conscience. So I drove back. I ran in the reception, said, guys, this is too good to refuse. Come with me now. They came with me. I drove out of the country club or whatever it was. And then there we were, like with that sunset brewing, we had to climb a fence. So we both picked up the bride, put her over, the groom jumped over, and I said, guys, call me on your cell phone. And it's probably when first cell phones just began. It was sort of that many years ago. I said, put me in your top pocket and I'm going to pose you because we're going to be like 400 or 500 feet away. So sure enough, they walk into the break of the trees. they stand there and I direct them with my phone as they're listening to me on the speakerphone within their pocket of the groom's suit. And then this is the shot that happened. And when the sun eventually came out properly, it just didn't look as good, but that break made all the difference. And this is a panorama. It looked amazing on the wall, looked amazing in their album, and it just worked beautifully. But it's amazing. I learned also early in my career, and again, if you've seen me before, you would have heard this before, but for a lot of you who haven't, I learned the power, and it doesn't matter whether it's a wedding or a different occasion, with the power of your voice, there's a few things that you can basically say that make all the difference in the world. So if I said to the bride, like, although from today onwards, your father will be the second man in your life, he's always been the first. No one could take this away from you. You'll always be daddy's little girl. This is what happened. It took shape as this is probably one of my favorite family portraits I've ever done. It's very simple. The lighting is beautiful. The expression is exquisite, but the connecting points of the hand to the lips of dad and the foreheads touching, it just made all the difference. So it's amazing what you can do with the power of your voice. You just have to learn to remind people of the importance of the occasion. It could be a maternity shot. It could be anything. Just slow down, stop having your head buried into the camera, get your camera settings right, go for it, but then learn to connect. And then as you just photograph more and more and more, that'll become easier. And that comes with time and experience and practice. So Melissa basically said, yes, we've never offered an early bird for our workshops before. So there you go. Paula asks, we all know that you like to get images right in camera, but when you retouch like that photo, no, we've discussed that one. Eduardo says, any advice with harsh sunlight where the subject is having a hard time with bright light in their eyes? Eduardo, is what I'd recommend is if you want someone to look at a certain place and it's really sunny, you basically get them to close your eyes and then that you say, just relax your forehead. And on the count of 3, open up your eyes. 1, 2, 3, click. And they can squint all they want. You just need a fraction of a second. That's it. Now, if you're photographing, let's say you have good poses, whether it's an individual or a couple poses that suit in the sun better, leave those couple, like those sun poses for the sun. Like don't use them up in open shade. In other words, if you're getting someone to interact and have fun and be playful, do that in open shade. Like you need a bit of room to breathe. And that light should be flatter because as they're moving, they're going to turn in and out of a very strong direction of light. If there is one direction of light like the sun, well, then you might get a couple with maybe one of them bringing their face up to the ear, about to whisper, or closing the eyes, or kissing, or looking down, or looking away. They're the shots that you want to leave in the sun, rather than having done those in the shade or open shade and then having to replicate them afterwards. It'd be too much of a repetition. So, okay, also ask, I shoot a lot on the beach. What shutter speed did you use for the beach photo with the pitch black background? The shutter speed, I think from memory, was about half a second to a second. It was something like that. I don't remember. All I know is I didn't pay attention on the person. All I did was I basically took a handful of shots until I exposed for the light. Now, the light was just exposing for something dark. And as long as the exposure would take to actually get it looking like that burnt orange in my camera. Once I had that, well, there's my exposure. I had my flash. I mean, she could literally have been waving like this in the shot, but as soon as that flash hits, that's all that matters, especially if it's pitch black. If you have a bit of ambience, that'll trickle through. That'll be a problem. So you got to be careful of that. Okay. Clive asks, can you talk about setting up lights? Can you talk about setting up lights versus capturing the moment? I'm having a hard time finding the balance between setting up lights for lifestyle shoots and possibly losing the moment. So my advice to you is this. If you're on in my earlier part of the broadcast, when I talk about the 5 steps to a great photograph, if I find good light or create the good light in a location that's complementary, then I'm not after the emotion yet. Like don't get too excitable or don't have too much fun until I'm ready. If someone's organically at a cocktail party having fun, go for your life. I'll be there around and I'll accept the light of what I can, whatever's possible in that moment. What's the best angle under the circumstances with the light that's there that I would take this photograph? That's fine. So that's something. But my suggestion is basically take your time and pick and choose your moments. If your whole process, that's why, to be honest, I do not shoot much off-camera flash. Now, some people swear by that. That's their whole life. I'm a strobist. I'm a speed lightist, if that's a word. And you might photograph with strobe or speed light the whole time. I find that I don't prefer that approach because then all my shots look the same. Most people who do that, they underexpose the sky, they add flash, and all the work may look really good, but it looks all the same. I find I want my shots to have a heartbeat and basically go up and down and have pivotal moments and beautiful soft moments, and then high impact and laughing and crying and everything. So I find that I will use the light that's there, whether it's window light, whether it's ambient light, whether I do use a reflector, whether I do use an ice light, whether I do use a speed light or a strobe. I usually only use artificial light when I need it, when I need more power. And I give myself a break, but I will not shoot with an exact formula with every single person, because someone might be more relaxed. There might be more of a backyard, wedding where they don't want to be posed too much. So I'll loosely pose people. I'll get them in good light, give them something to do and let them go, not after perfection. The problem is we spend a lot of our time trying to please other photographers, because other photographers will tell you, well, that's bad, you made a mistake, or this, that, whatever. And I'm like, guys, like, I'm all for crafting, but you don't know the circumstances behind the shots that I've taken, nor why would you critique that? And let alone, why would I need your validation? The only important thing is the validation of my clients. In other words, they just need to be happy and have their expectations met, if not exceeded, to be happy. So that's an important one. So take your time and understand that creating, constructing, it's the deconstructing of that perfect pose and that perfect light that makes it look real. If everything looks too perfect, then it looks a bit too contrived, and that's where you just have to break something on purpose. It doesn't have to be obvious, not at the expense of flattery. It could just be the moment. It could be the face maybe a certain way. Just I want to feel real. You know what I mean? So now, another opportunity to come and learn from us, apart from our own, our own hosted workshops, is Graphic Studio. So I have the distinct honor and pleasure to actually teach with two of my favorite photographers, Lindsay Adler and Chris Knight. The three of us are actually presenting a workshop in Italy, and coming up very, very soon. So I think maybe it's September 3rd to the 5th or something like that. No, what am I talking about? No, 6th. It's going to be the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th of September, and then a studio, a factory tour on the 8th. So if you want to be spoiled with an incredible Italian hospitality, learn with three people that have been doing this for a while, want to share some different experiences, different approaches, in an incredible setting like 2 hours out of Venice, and be hosted by Graphic Studio, please join us. I believe there's also an early bird for that as well. So if you go onto jerryjerryjerry.com, or basically my bio link in my Instagram page, if you go in there, you'll have access to 3 workshops. So Italy coming up very soon. You've also got Australia in November, December, and then you've got May 2023 here in Vegas. Van just said, I wouldn't have become a wedding photographer if I didn't start watching your work 10 years ago. That means so much to me. Oh my God, thank you so much. That means so much. It's fun to share inspiration and fun to share some ideas. So I think that's really, really cool. Kathy says, your darling book never leaves my coffee table. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate that. Bill, how are you, mate? I'm photographing your portrait next year with your girlfriend. So I'm really, really excited about doing that. I respect Jerry's photography, but what I really respect is how perfectly consistent a 5 o'clock shadow is. I respect that about you too, Bill. Well, here's the thing. People think, how do I get it so perfect? Well, I have a trimmer, and I have it on the same setting. And, if I get lazy, I might leave it for a week, but every few days I trim. And then I just for you back home, anyone who's interested about this, it's a Philips trimmer, beard trimmer. It's a number 3 here, number 4 here, number 5 here. And then I shave up to here, and I shave here, and I shave here. And there it is. Thank you. Wyatt, one of my best friends here in Vegas, an incredible guy, incredible performer, great look. He said, in answer to the question about what is needed as an assistant, Melissa says, Melissa is everything. And being Jerry's assistant is basically a cardio session so he can giggle at you and tell funny jokes. A ball change kick. That's a performer joke. So you don't worry about what that means, but it's basically a fun thing that we have with Wyatt. So Wyatt, if you're still watching, I love you. I miss you. Let's hang for dinner soon. I want to meet your puppies. That's all I'm saying. Let's continue on with this presentation. This next photograph, we've often, if you photographed a wedding, specifically talking about weddings again, you may have seen, you may look at a veil and just put the veil over the bride's face. That's pretty obvious. That's been done to death for decades and forever. What I did see, though, with this particular bride, I saw a little bit of lace on the bottom of her dress. And then I saw the shape of it, and I'm like, if I could ask her to respectfully and modestly hike up the dress, the tulle was covering the naughty bits, but hike up the dress, bring the material over her face, and then I saw a little hole in the lace, and that can be like the pupil of her eye, and I saw a curve within the lace that could be framing her eye and her lips. I'm like, well, now I've got this sort of really pretty mysterious photograph. This is a very polarizing photograph because some people love it, some people hate it, they think it's creepy. I just like that it gets a reaction. It's emotion. I love it. I think it's mysterious. It's really beautiful. I love the color of the skin, the lips coming through, and I love the pupil in her eye. And this has given me inspiration to do this over and over again in my career. So that's been really, really fun to do. This one I really enjoyed. This was done a long time ago. The bride and her sister were walking out of the church. A gush of wind came. It blew over these girls, and it just gave that little Kevin Bacon nose on this little girl, and it just added to the fun moment of this as well, which I absolutely loved. This next shot, I had access to the dining room of the reception of this particular couple. Now, it's very rarely that there's been one table for all the guests at a reception, but I'm like, I'm not going to have this opportunity many times again. And I'm like, well, why don't I shoot through a tunnel of this table and then have a video light just off center here, and then put the couple in a beautiful little moment and get this shot. And if you look very closely, you'll see a reflection on the bottom left-hand side of the couple as well. With that expression, this photograph would be dead. This is deliberately warm. It's not obviously perfectly white balanced, but I like it warm. Like I said, it's not really important what you think. It's important how one feels, and more importantly, how your clients feel. So it's almost like I've learned never to say, if a girl comes up to you and says, like, I don't like my nose, don't photograph my profile. And then you say, no, the nose is perfect. It's beautiful. What's wrong with you? And then you end up photographing a profile the whole time. Well, she won't like it. So I never try to convince you of something, nor do, on the opposite end of the scale, nor do I give you permission to feel badly about yourself. I respect what you don't like about yourself. And again, it's not important how I look, how I feel, it's how you feel. Therefore, I respect what you're saying. I hear you, I see you, and then I will craft the photograph and make sure that I hide those, in your words, imperfections, and amplify your strengths. This next shot was another one of my favorites in my career. It's a simple family photograph, but I remember the daughter and the father had such affection for each other, as all family members do, but there was such a bond between the father and the daughter. And when the bride came out of the room dressed as the first time as a bride, I said, only have eyes for your father. And she walked out, only had eyes for her father. Then they hugged. He was wiping her tears, and mum was soaking in that moment. And it just so happened that there was beautiful window lights, and just so happened that we had some nice negative space and all those different things. Do you sort of see, I almost in that tongue in cheek, that you can craft a photograph. There are elements you can craft, you can create, with elements that are spontaneous, but don't be afraid to create the magic as well as capture the magic that exists. This was actually done in the crypt of a church. I was waiting for her to walk down the aisle. I'm waiting for them to walk down. I knew they were already there. I'm like, what's the holdup? I go down and I saw this beautiful prayer of everyone giving the bride her blessing just before she was to walk down the aisle. So we just caught that. And of course, that was in fact photojournalistic. This one here was at a fashion house in LA on Robertson Boulevard. I asked the owner to take all the clothes off the mannequins. He didn't know what the hell I was doing. This was done with a single skylight. and I just love it. It's just a very beautiful image, very simple. It's got a bit of a Jordan Peele undertone to it, which I quite like. It's really fun. I want to show you one of my favorite shots of my career, and this was tough to achieve. And notice how long it takes for me to achieve it. So you might say, well, Jerry, when do you know to slow down? When do you know to take your time? And when do you go for it? Like, so for me, I'll know within a few seconds or even 30 seconds, whatever it may be, I'll know whether the best version of this shot is worth fighting for. If I compute in my brain that the best version of this shot is mediocre, then I just won't take it. If I see a hero shot brewing, I might take 20 minutes to get it if I feel it's worth it. If I know with the elements that are in front of me, I can fight for it and I'll get it. So you might recognize this one. For those of you who haven't, check this out.
All right, darling, what I want you to do, see how you're there perfectly centered towards me. I need you now to just, that's it, perfect. Bloody hell, she looks amazing, huh? Just need a bit of hint of a light, so I'll get that. Can we close the doors? I want to see if the light is better because it's a bit too hot on the bottom of the dress. Yeah, that's much better. Now, turn your face to the right now. That's it, and chin right up. And now, Melissa, just need you to sort of fan out the veil perfectly evenly around her so it's framing her. Actually, yeah, we'll put a towel underneath her head, underneath the dresser. And keep that sort of look, darling. Turn your face this way. Probably her head. Probably just on just to the lower part of her head, because it'll just help her without having to just turn your face towards me, darling. That's it, and chin up a bit more. That's it. Bring it sort of that way a little bit. Yeah, I need it sort of organised but dishevelled, if that makes any sense. You look awesome there. So just go beyond it and then just push it in a little bit. That's it, just a little bit. That's it. This hand, just bring it away from you a little bit. Bring the elbow up a little bit. Perfect. That's it. Now turn your face gently to this way, towards the light. Chin up a bit, darling. That's perfect. Yes. Don't move. Okay. Close your eyes, darling. All right. So just hold my belt. That's it. Actually, that was perfect, actually. Arch your back.
So there it is, guys. One of my favorite shots of my career. I just love the gold and the white. It's just really very, very lavish. That bird's eye view, that perspective is quite rare because it's not only bird's eye, but you can sort of see the perspective of that particular wall. Now, why could you see that? Well, you probably saw the fact that I was actually hanging over the banister and Melissa was holding my belt so I just wouldn't die. So now it was really important that, well, when you're photographing at 14 mil and there's so many dissecting lines that you basically have to, like, if you move 1 millimeter, it's going to be off. And it was perfectly centered. We got the shot, and you can see how important it is that we got that towel underneath her head and turned her face into the light. And some people have said it looks like she's an angel floating on a cloud. Some people said it looks like she's in a bubble bath. It's one of my most awarded photographs. It was an important turning point in my career because I remember staring at this photograph on the plane from Sydney to Melbourne. This was in Sydney. Because like there's parts in your career where you say, is my best work behind me? And then it reminded me that the best photographs are worth fighting for, and you're only as good as your last photo. Even though today, guys, I'm mainly focusing on a bit of my history more than my current work. I'll show you a few current ones, but I've got a few ideas on how I'm going to release a lot of the new work that I'm doing. But it's important that you have these milestones, you celebrate them, and you move on. You know, you're only as good as your last performance. And this reminded me at that time when I needed it that I got to keep fighting for it. We've got a comment here from one of my Greek friends, Stelios, and I'll say this in Greek. Jerry, είσαι καταπληκτικός και τα λες πολύ κατανοητά. He may have said something differently or may that been copied perfectly. Κατανοητά και με τον σωστό ρυθμό. Πολλά συγχαρητήρια και πάλι. What that means is that, Jerry, you tell it very simply, you talk with the right rhythm, and congratulations for your work. So, Stelios, ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ και θα σε δω μήπως στην Ελλάδα, γιατί θα πάμε στην Ελλάδα με οικογένεια μου Αύγουστο, Σεπτέμβριο, και μήπως με τον Νίκ Πεκρίδης θα κάνουμε κάτι με το πώς. Δεν ξέρω, αλλά άμα τον ξέρεις και θα τα ρώτησε τον. Εντάξει. I basically said that I'm coming to Greece with my family next month on holiday, and we might be organizing something with local photographers there. I don't know. It might happen. If you know about PWS, the organization there, and Nick Pacridis and the boys, then perhaps you might have 1 degree of separation between knowing what's going to happen, but nothing's been planned yet. It may happen. So I hope to see you there. I want to show you one of my favorite photographs of my favorite photograph of my career. So if you ask me to choose one image that was my favorite, this is the one, or at least it's about to come, but I want to set it up for you. You probably know what this is. This is the Taj Mahal, and it's a glorified mausoleum. Basically, it's a monument that celebrates the love that this king had for his queen who passed. And I remember lining up for this photograph. I had to line up and like a tourist with a camera and take a shot that millions have taken before me, and way better than me because they had the right time of day, they had nice clouds, whatever it may be. And I asked my tour guide, is there a location that we can go to that we have an uninterrupted view of the Taj Mahal? So with my wife, Melissa, we went to this location. It was perpendicular to this location. It was across the river. In the meantime, we bought Melissa this beautiful dress, and one of the pillars was being renovated, but we ended up retouching that out. That was the only thing that we did sort of structurally to this photograph that you're about to see. But she was just swaying there in the wind. There was a beautiful haze. There was a nice glow in there. And then there was this freak sandstorm. And I had my off-camera flash. So I basically had the tour guide hold the off-camera flash, and that was my first test shot. Horrible. Then I got Melissa to pose for it, and it's okay. I adjusted my white balance. So I put my white balance to shade, which would make it warmer. Then I lowered the power on the flash and basically made it softer and feathered it away. Feathering basically means that I'm getting the fringe of the ground. And I happened to have, I think, a GoPro at the time, and I just laid it on the ground. And you see the exact moment during the sandstorm where I took the photograph. That was my favorite photograph of my career. So have a look at this. Not flirting, but just you're noticing me. You're turning around. You don't put the hand there. Just wherever your hand's going to take you. That's it. Did you see that flash? That last one? That was Melissa being the calm in the storm. The other story about the Taj Mahal is that, there's a long story about it. That's actually an incredible history. So check it out. But basically, like I said, it's a glorified mausoleum and monument to this queen. Now, I would like to think that, although I can't afford it, that I like my queen more than he did his. So I metaphorically and literally, I placed the composition of my wife above the horizon, and then her being the calm in the storm. And that is literally right on the left of me. I've got a beautiful Graphy Studio 40 by 60 acrylic mounted print. And as I walk into our study every day, I celebrate the queen she is every single day. And I like to think that if I'm photographing another girl or a bride, I'm photographing other girls to make them queens for themselves or for somebody else. So basically, I want to show you a couple of recent ones now. These are still some that I've shared in other different places and everything like that, but a couple of my recent favorites. This bride asked me for some boudoir shots, and I had the idea to actually get that sort of, I forget what it's called. It's like an undergarment that helps puff out the dress. So it's not really meant to be shown like this, but we thought it might be fun. So I want you to notice how bad the light is, but then what I do with it.
Or is it stupid?
Oh, let's do it. Yeah,
Like really quick.
Yeah, let's do
Let
it.
me just pee really quick.
What I'd like you to do is turn your body that way. More. Keep going. Keep going. Stop there. No, switch hands. Yeah. Now this hand, closest to me, do that. Yes, perfect, perfect. Good. Chin down, eyes down. Stunning. Lean forward. Gorgeous. Oh, you're going to freak when you see this. So people asked me about mirrorless earlier today because I could see my exposure. It was very easy to understand where that shot was going to go. Now the sun's filtering through that dresser there. And I'm like, well, it's just going to look crappy. But if I expose for her and everything blowing out, and I get her in a position where she's bending her leg, shifting her weight on the back leg, therefore bending the knee, giving us curves, giving us a highlight between her knees, a highlight between her shoes. We've got a highlight between her elbow and her body, so we know the thinnest part of the waist. And she turns her face into the light. It can really look beautiful. I could see that very clearly because I was shooting mirrorless. It makes it more fun and efficient. This next shot, now, if I've shot this for a wedding album, I've taken that one photograph. Now I need something to go with it because I'm shooting for stories, a spread of an album. So I stand on the dresser and now I expose for the sun. Watch this. All right. So you're going to come here. So you're going to sit side saddle and your legs are that way. And this knee's over and you're going to rest on your elbow. Good. And now turn your face. Face that way. Chin up. Close your eyes. Good. Stretch out your body so we don't get this. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Face more left. More. There you go. Just there. Eyes on me. Close your eyes. Perfect. So there it is. Turn the body away from the light. Turn the face back in. If you've seen and heard me teach before, I've said that 1,000 times. For the female form, that is going to work incredibly well. Turn the body away from the light. Face back in. Shadow on the cleavage, middle of the dress. Turn the face into the point where the side of the face that was furthest away from the camera now has a shadow on it. Therefore, we're creating that short side, as we call it, that shadow side, therefore giving us cheekbones and jawline and depth and dimension and form. Recently, well, not recently, it's about a year ago now, maybe more, we had the pleasure of photographing fellow Nikon ambassador Christy Odom's wedding. Now, if you know her, she's an adventurous type. She loves hiking and loves outdoors. She photographs incredible and films animals in their habitat, and it's just incredible. I photographed her wedding, and Melissa was a celebrant. So we had to wake up very early, not crazy early, but early enough on a wedding day, but hike up for about 2 hours on this mountain. And if you're scared of heights, this might make you a little bit woozy. I'm not afraid of heights, as you'll clearly see in a moment. But check this out. This is really pretty, but concrete, flat would be awesome. And there's nothing we really can't do in Photoshop. This takes our friendship to a different level. Next time they get married, not doing it. I'm gonna do it over Skype or Zoom. Yeah. I'm probably gonna stand where Darren is right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just be very, very careful. I know
Yeah, no, this is good. This feels good.
Do you want me to Oh my gosh, look at you.
Get some photos.
Oh, this is amazing. This is awesome. Holy shit.
What are you thinking? Will that work?
It's beautiful. Yeah. 1 second. So, Chrissy, switch your hips. That's it. And then bring that leg down and the other one over. And then Darren, you need to come around this way. No, other way. So your face will be on this side. Roll your hips more this way, Chrissy. More that way. There you go. That's perfect. Stay there. All right. Now your right knee's up, your left knee down. Face that way. Good. Close the gap. Again, guys, if I'm swaying, let me know. Okay, that makes me a bit woozy. Okay. All right. Let me just find my feet. Hold on. What's the worst that can happen? We fall. We ruin the wedding day. Giggling into each other. You just got married. We're on a rock. Beautiful, loving, squeezing, temple kissing. Oh, that's beautiful. 1 second, I'm just going to enjoy that view for a second. Hold on.
that crazy?
Wow.
So you're not afraid of heights?
No, not really.
Looking,
I mean-
not really, but this gives me a little
Well,
fear.
well, look,
Healthy fear.
I'm not, but it's a healthy fear. I look down and I'm like, yeah, I could die, but yeah, it's all cool.
So you can't really tell by this photograph. It was actually at the widest, it was 14 millimeter. You can't really tell the severity of the angle, but this is very meaningful to them because they chose this rock, this mountain, whatever you want to call it, to get married on. It's one of their favorite places, and we see the valley there, which is really pretty, and that beautiful light cutting across. And again, even though that she's got this beautiful blue dress on, turn the body away from the light, face back in, and then we've sort of got the shot. And it works really, really well. So we're going to wind up here in the next 10 minutes and show you a couple of things here. Let me just see here. I want to show you this one. This was really, really fun. So I photographed a Native American wedding, and both have parents of Native American, and she's actually a friend of mine who I've known for many, many years. And I love the fact that he got married with war paint on his face. And then I sort of wanted this sort of seductive, voyeuristic sort of shot where she's sort of smudging the paint. And this is actually photographed with the ice light behind them, as well as natural light coming through a window as well. The next shot here, we've got a big tree, and I needed more drama because the lighting was a bit flat. So this is what we did.
Okay, can you guys just go, see that the light just past that shadow? Just go there for me. Oh, now it goes, look at it.
Don't be bad.
For me, please. I'll get this, but sure. I'll get the 85 as well. All right, guys, hold each other's hands, and then foreheads touching. Gorgeous, guys, hold it there. Stunning. Beautiful, guys.
So what I did was the area was quite flat, and I'm waiting for the sun. It was going in and out of those trees, and I wanted a bit more drama. So I added a strobe behind them, and then it just gives that little bit of a kick and that frame in the environment. Now, this wedding, not dissimilar to the other one that I showed you earlier, I was home free. We were driving away from the wedding. We're about to go to Buffalo Wild Wings, which is sort of my guilty pleasure on a wedding night if it exists in the area that I'm at. Usually it's a good steak before the wedding, and then Buffalo Wild Wings a night off. And I was tired, and I was hungry, and I was thirsty, and we're driving away. But then I saw these little mist developing over the landscape, and I'm like, oh man. All right, I got to do it. So we drove back, picked them up, and this is what happened.
Okay, stop there. Michael, what I want you to do is I want to feel like you're walking this way. So you're going to be holding her like like this.
Okay.
Can you put the flash behind them? Okay. Okay, look back at your missus, mate. That's it. Look at each other. Guys, we got it. Yeah. It was worth.
So there it is. I like the fact that I deliberately got the light sort of ghosting him a little bit so that she's more solid in the photograph, and then he's a bit softer. And remember too, when you're photographing someone far away, full length, you're not really getting faces. So really the silhouette, the motion and the body language, the shape is going to give you the expression where the faces aren't. So remember, if you're photographing someone far away, have a clean silhouette of what they're doing. It'll give you the emotion that the faces are not. So in case you've just joined us, and sorry to remind you if you've been with us in the entire journey, I am going to show you one of my favorite projects of my whole career in a moment. Before I do, I just want to remind you, again, new to those who've just tuned in the last half hour or so, not new to the other people, but I just want to remind you that we are doing an incredible sale for an incredible cause of my second published book. Usually this published book is worth $149. It is now on sale for $99, so you save $49. And we do free shipping worldwide. Doesn't matter where you are on earth, we will cover the cost of shipping. So $99 will buy you the book, and 100% of the net proceeds will go to our charity. And the offer ends August the 5th. So after this broadcast, if you want to jump on the link in my bio on Instagram, On the top link there, you'll see a place to purchase it. And if you forget where that is, go to jerryjerryjerry.com, jerryjerryjerry.com, or jerryjerryjerry.com if you're American. And it will be there for you, and you can click that link. What is the book all about? Well, a lot of the photographs that I've shown you today, being a retrospective of some of my early iconic photographs in my career, are all included in this book. There's even a 3D project in there, which I'm excited about. It has 3D glasses, it's hardcover, and it is set against a backdrop of quotes and things that I believe in. And it's a very personal book. It also shares a lot about who I am, my family in it as well. The money will go to charity because we've got books left over, in the sense that we've got stock left over of my books. And I'm like, well, you know what? Why not say it out loud and publicly that we will use 100% of the net proceeds here to go to our charity. Unashamedly, I'm doing this seminar to actually share some inspiration, but hopefully we can raise money for the charity. So if you've already bought one, buy one as a gift for a friend. If you've always wanted to take something away from like you want a piece of me with you, I'm going to sign it for you as well. And please, the book will be given to you as a, hopefully you'll draw a lot of inspiration from it, hopefully as you've had today during our class. The charity the mandate is that we care for poor, homeless and orphan children in third world countries. We've done some incredible projects in different parts of the world, but the book shares a lot about me personally. So there's a bit of a glimpse of me as a kid and growing up and everything like that. I told you that there's a 3D project in there as well. There's lots of stuff in there personally, which I'm excited about. Coming up, if you're in Europe or if you're wanting a good tax write-off in Europe, we have a workshop at the Graphy Studio Castle. The link is in my bio. So again, go to jerryjerryjerry.com or go to my Instagram page, click on the link in my bio, and you'll see, I think the second, third, and fourth link are all to the current workshops. Also, if you want a 5-day workshop experience, and a lot of people have said that this is on their bucket list, well, this is the time that you can save $1,000 off your bucket list item, and that is a workshop. We're doing a workshop in Australia at the end of this year, November 2022, and you will save $1,000 if you register before July 31. And also, if you want to book basically for next year's workshop here in Vegas, again, you will save $1,000 if you book now. So hopefully you can join us. We'd love to have you. It's one of my favorite things that I do. And I know I can make a difference, and Melissa can make a huge difference in your work and your life and your career, and literally help you reinvent yourself to a point where you're profitable if you follow my advice and you do the work. But let me now finish off with a couple of things here as well. And this is basically one of my, it sort of is one of my favorite projects. I don't know if is it my all-time favorite? It's right up there, I've got to say. And this is actually a former workshop student. She told me about her daughter and said that I've got this beautiful redhead daughter. I want you to photograph her one day. I said, I'd love to. And we reconnected years after. And do you remember me? I said, of course. We spent 5 days together. You have a beautiful redhead daughter. Surely she'd be 15, 16 by now. She said, yes. And I said, then let me see her. She showed me a photograph of her. This is one of my photographs of her, but she showed me this photograph. She's stunning. This beautiful, delicate face, this fair skin, red head, absolutely exquisite. And as soon as I saw her, I pictured a young Queen Elizabeth, a la Kate Blanchett in the movie Elizabeth. So when I pictured her like that, I sort of seen a montage of those scenes in that movie. So this was the inspiration, hair and makeup artist there. We had some fun, and this is the time lapse of her getting ready. So a lot of thought went to behind the wardrobe, behind what she was, behind the crown and all that kind of stuff. And I did all the tests for the shot, and she was there in front of my camera, and I set the scene. And this was the first shot after my test shots that actually happened. I couldn't believe it. I got this. Watch this.
You're like a doll. You are a doll. Flying in the shoes. I feel really like. Yes. I'm scared to move.
Good. Because I know we all like to have a laugh and everything like that. We're going to get the giggles out because we're going to create a mood. So we have to just keep it I want to keep it regal. Just keep it simple, keep it clean. So let's just be really, really quiet. And even if you get bored, it actually might look good in the photograph, but just run with me here. We've got everything ready to rock. We're just going to test the light a little bit, and then we'll work on some expressions here. Okay, so now I want you to stand flat-footed, always flat-footed. Don't sort of put your hip one way or the other. Bring your elbows back a little bit, just your elbows. That's it, good. And just relax them down and down. Good. Just allow the hands to be a little bit off. Good, perfect. All right, guys, so we're shooting for real now. We'll keep it cool and quiet and get this done. It's going to be beautiful. It's awesome.
How's that work?
Yeah, it's so good.
So can you imagine getting this expression right off the bat, straight away? And you might say, what was she doing? Why was she giving an evil, and to whom? Well, her mother just looked at the actual pearls that were just slightly off center. And then, you know, she looked at her mother, looked down and looked back up again. And you saw Melissa was actually going to fix it. I'm like, and I'm waiting because the recycle time of the strobe takes a little while. So I'm just waiting for the right moment and to miss Melissa. And then boom, I took the shot and we got this, and it's hanging as a 40x60 beautiful graphic studio canvas print in the lobby of my studio, which I absolutely love. And we got that shot. Check out this next one.
Leave that hand there. With this hand, just right up. That's it. That's it. Good. Now bring this hand out. This one up. Bring it down. And then again, bring the elbow in. That's it. And a little bit more out this way. More. Good. Beautiful. Pretend like you're shushing. It's just, that's it. Yeah. So just put your fingers a bit closer to you. That's it. There you go. That's perfect. Don't move. I want a feeling that you're doing that to a child. So it's very soft. It's very like you're regal, but you're being a little bit mischievous with the child. Yes. And actually make the sound, because it'll help the expression. Shh. Serious. Go for it. Just go. And eyes at me.
Took a while to get there, right? Like I think many of us would have been tempted to just keep on shooting, but I want the expression. As soon as she gave me that look, I knew it was there. It's important to just be patient and take your time. This next shot was always going to happen. It was always going to happen, and you'll see. So as you can see, I changed the lighting setup.
Hold your hands up like this. Perfect. Just roll this wrist in this way.
Now, don't forget she's 16, right?
Feet on the ground perfectly. Good. Chin up. Facing. Just this way. Chin right up. Okay, I need regal, strong woman. That was awesome.
So with this photograph, although you know she's yawning, you look at this and you don't know whether she's singing opera or she's in fact yawning. But I like the fact that we're just getting these crazy, awesome, different looks. This is another one of my favorites there. And then this one, I decided that if I turned her face and we're using the beauty dish above her, I can reflect off the ruff, the collar, back on her face. We'll get something like this.
Bring your chin down, Dal. So chin up, chin forward. So whoop and down. That's it. Just about there. And eyes down. Tilt this way. Yeah. And face to the right. That's it. Good. Don't move. Turn your face more that way. Stop. That's it. Now eyes where your face is pointing. Give me a bit more of a bit more mischievous look. That's it.
So it's suited in black and white, and you can see that beautiful tickle of light on her jawline, and then that little split light and that beautiful contrast on the collar on the ruff there, which I really loved and really enjoyed there as well. More important than really the photographs, the process is actually getting a reaction like this, where you can change one's opinion of oneself with literally a fraction of a second. Watch her reaction.
Okay. We are done.
You are amazing. I've never seen somebody work that hard, but I mean, slide off. Go right to the back of the camera. Oh my goodness.
Are you ready? All right, hold on. Are you ready? Come closer.
I feel like it's gonna be like a really scary one. No. Where I'm like yawning.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
If you go up, there's detail there. It's just enough detail there to just know what's going on.
Oh my goodness, it's crazy. That's you.
All right.
That doesn't even look
I
like.
know.
All right. Give me a second. Let me. You are so beautiful.
I might cry actually.
You should cry. Check that out.
I really stop. I don't want to cry.
It's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
Are you making me cry? Look, I'm all misty now myself.
I actually do. I think this is like. I've never felt better about myself.
Oh.
Like in a photo shoot.
You are so beautiful.
Check that
and
out.
So awesome.
Look at you.
I can't believe that's me.
Yeah. Just even the moments between moments, like.
My yawning now. Oh my goodness. I'm just like.
I love that.
That is such a good shot.
I just feel pretty. So, yay. I actually feel like a princess.
You're a queen. You're not a princess.
I'm a queen.
And I want you to keep that crown
Yes, that belongs to you.
I want you to keep it so you remember this shoot.
Oh no, I don't.
Come on, just give me a hug.
Own that crown, Claire.
That's your crown, okay?
You made that yours.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm fine.
So
Give me a hug, Mum. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
How beautiful was that? I mean, I got goosebumps just looking at her reaction. And almost more important than the daughter's reaction is the mother's basically saying, look, I told you all those years that you're the most beautiful girl in the world. Of course, that's every mother's job. But you can sort of see the look of surprise, the whites of her eyes. She's just freaking out. Like she's never seen herself look like that, or she's never felt that pretty. I never felt better about myself. To have those words come out of your client's mouth is pretty incredible. I think that what we do for a living is severely underestimated. And after all, think about it, guys. We are in an industry of the most popular hobby in the world. Like, think of how many photographs get seen every day, or everything through a lens of a camera every day. It's mind-boggling. Way before social media, but add social media to it, and how many people are thumbing through photographs even before they get out of bed is astonishing. I find that the last couple of years have been certainly a curse for a lot of people. It's been horrible. Lives have been lost. Livelihoods have been lost. It's been a challenging time. There are different things happening in the world right now, as they always have been, but there's always going to be challenges. And the fact is that some things you can't control, but you can control how you react to them. I sincerely believe that what's happened the last couple of years has been and is revealing itself to be sort of a gift to our community, in the sense that people are remembering that the most important things in life are time, health, family, friends, strength of relationships, job fulfillment. All of those things we remember to live. We remember to have fun. We remember to savor that next bite of a meal that tastes wonderful. We remember to hug our loved ones a bit more than we normally do. And remember that if we can give an experience sort of like this one, perhaps we might make a difference in one person's life as well. I think that too many of us are trying to be heroes in the industry, or heroes to other photographers, rather than being heroes to our clients, rather than being heroes to our partners, our families. We keep on looking for validation from people who don't matter. The people who matter are our clients. They're the bosses. They pay the bills. And I think sometimes when we think that we're putting our family first by putting our business first, and our family's sitting there waiting for us to come home or waiting for you to stop photoshopping until 3 a.m, what a waste of a life. I feel we need a balance. The world will go on without you. 1 million people ought to have lost their lives here in America alone from COVID, and life moves on. There's no need to be humbled. You're not that important. We are not that important. But while we're living and breathing, and while we're if you're watching this broadcast, it means you're probably in a lucky part of the world. Now, if we are in that lucky part of the world, then what are we going to do about it? People would kill literally to be in your position, to have a roof over their heads and clean water to drink and food to eat and doing a job that you love. But stop waiting for the work. Get out there and pretend like you're going to go hungry, because maybe you will be, just like we did the last couple of years. We need to actually start to be our own cheerleader. And you might say, well, what does that mean? Well, let me explain. I think that many people call themselves an introvert. I'm an introvert and I lack confidence. And the same introvert, the same person who lacks confidence and is not boisterous and whatever, can go to a hockey game and literally see strangers or the team that they root for play a game and will cheer for strangers like it's their team and scream and cheer and hold their breath and freak out during that whole game and then they win. And then when they win, you take ownership of their victory like it's yours. Well, you didn't do a thing. You were just cheering for a stranger. But we like to be part of something. We like to cheer for something. Why could that person not be ourselves? Why shouldn't we celebrate what we want to celebrate and understand what's most important? People have asked me, why have I been quiet on social media for the past couple of years? I've been too busy soaking moments in with my family. I was away from my family for 2 years, and I spent 2.5 months with them, and I savored every moment. I savor every moment with my puppies and Melissa and my friends and what I do. I'm just obsessed with the creative process. I think too many of us are worried about the result. When I get that car, when I get that house, I'll be happy. If I win an award with that photograph, I'll be happy. Why not focus on the process and the habits and the things that you have to do that with consistency that would lead to your version of success? We join a gym. We don't see results in a day. But we're like, well, how are you going to see results in a day? If you just focus on the process, guess what? In 2 months, you will see a difference. We need to be our own cheerleader, and those negative thoughts that you experience, that the people in your life that are bringing you down, get rid of them. And I say that with utmost respect, including that inner demon or that inner person that secretly wants you to fail. Like that person inside you that gives you fear, that gives you self-doubt, leads to lack of confidence, all those things, that if we humanize that entity, that inner self that gives us those negative feelings, I want you to picture that person as a person. Would you be friends with that person? Hell no, you would not be friends with that person. So why do you listen to them? You shouldn't listen to them. You know what you need to do. You need to work your ass off. You need to work hard, because talent isn't enough. The hardest worker with the least amount of talent will beat the person with the most amount of talent that's not a hard worker. That's just a fact in most industries, in most entities and genres. So if you're watching this right now, again, I've shown you mostly my older work, and I still feel like I'm a baby in the industry after 30 years, and I knew what I wanted to be when I was 15 and started profession when I was 20, and I'm 49 right now. I turned 49 about a month ago. And, you know, when you sort of get 49 and as you get older, people sort of joke, oh, you're getting old, or my back's hurting, oh, you're getting old. And I'm like, I am so fortunate and happy to be 49. There are people who do not pass 6 months. There are people who don't get to be 40 or 45 or 50. The fact is that I'm 49. I love the age that I'm at. Why? Is because I lived in a world where there was no internet. I played cops and robbers in the backyard. I would do sports every every waking hour other than school, I learned to communicate with people. Our family home was like a party every single week, and Greek dancing, and records were playing on the record player and everything. Like life was different. I got to see some of the biggest technological advantages in my lifetime. I saw the difference between cassettes and record players and CDs and music streaming, from negative to film and large format to mirrorless. This is just all tools, but I've witnessed this in my lifetime. What will I witness before I leave this earth? All I know is I want to witness as many of those reactions as we basically had just seen, as much as humanly possible before I go. But for the moment, while I'm strong and I'm healthy, I'm very, very grateful for everything that I have. I'm married to an incredible person. I know that there's some people that will never experience that kind of love in their lifetime. I found that at 36, and I've had that for a very long time. So I'm very thankful for that. And I've got 2 beautiful puppies that love on me all the time. And I just wish that you guys are having the same clarity. I wish you guys strength in your family and your health and all the things that you basically are doing, but just focus on the process. Repetition, experience, and practice will always be your best teacher. And as I've always said, remember, you don't have to be the best. All you simply have to do is be better than last week. Thank you so much for your time. I know that time is the most valuable thing. And anyone who knows me, I'm a little bit chatty. And I've just realized that I've been speaking now for about 2 hours and 20 odd minutes. Thank you for giving me your most valuable commodity. I hope that it's been worth it to and valuable to you. If you feel that I've brought value to you, I ask you a favor. Don't thank me. Please buy my book. 100% of those of the net proceeds will go to our charity. We can make a big difference. And if you want a little bit of Jerry with you at home on your coffee table, and you want to relive some of the memories that we shared today, and perhaps some of those memories that we've shared in person or online over the last 20 to 30 years, hope you can join us, or possibly even in person. So if you want to learn more about me, see more of my work and more from me, go to jerryjerryjerry.com. and hopefully see you soon. Other than that, guys, I wish you strength and happiness, and we'll see you real soon.